You just got to expect Martinsville at the end of the race. You're going to have some bumping and grinding.
Matt Kempton just wrecked Joey Logano!
Just a complete coward move.
The bumper to the back of the 24!
No, I just wrecked us. Turn left on it, son of a...
A drag race, they're sideways!
Miami, baby! Yes!
Aggression and patience. Those are two words that, well, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, you're going to have to use them equally here at this racetrack, Martinsville Speedway. Car starting to roll off of pit road. Here's today's starting grid, brought to you by Xfinity. We'll hear from the first 8 drivers.
Brad Keselowski, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Martin Truex Jr., Mayetta, New Jersey.
Alex Bowman, Tucson, Arizona.
Denny Hamlin, Chesterfield, Virginia.
Kurt Busch, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Kevin Harvick, Bakersfield, California.
Joey Logano, Middletown, Connecticut.
Chase Elliott, Dawsonville, Georgia.
Take a look a little bit further back. Kyle Busch got his first win of the season. He'll start in row 5, no longer a part of the round of 8.
Yeah, Clint Boyer back in row 8, making perhaps his final start, moving to Fox next year. Going to keep an eye on him, as well as Jimmy Johnson back in row 14. 2 superstars that have won here at the short track. Can they repeat?
Daniel Suarez in the 96 in row 15. Bubba Wallace in row 16. We'll be moving over to 2311 Racing. The Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan team that has been formed.
Got some in-car cameras. We'll be riding along board with some of the drivers. Chase Elliott will have the Xfinity camera here. He's got this roof cam, also a passenger side reverse. So we can see Chase in there steering on it. And Joey Logano also right there to his left. Here we are on the roof of that car, has the Coca-Cola cam. He too has a passenger side reverse camera mounted in the interior of that car.
Kevin Harvick, Real Tree Camo cam. He's got a cool shot for us today. You can see a little footwork at Martinsville. Denny Hamlin, Coca-Cola cam. He's got a great shot for us as well, this left front. It's gonna be a fun shot all day.
So we go from right at track level to high above Martinsville Speedway. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. All right, Steve, give us the race breakdown here at Martinsville. It's a fairly long race in the sense of 500 laps.
I can't think of a better place to have the cut race in the round of 8. Just over a half mile. The paperclip, very obvious reasons, looks just like a paperclip. It looks flat, but there is a little bit of banking, 8 to 9 degrees. It is concrete in the corners. The asphalt, 12 degrees. If you get up to the asphalt, you're in trouble. That's way out of the groove. You want to stay on the concrete in the corners. 500 laps, 130 laps for both stage 1 and stage 2. The final stage, 240 laps. You can go 150 on fuels. You can go a long ways here. We expect the competition yellow around lap 60. You have to ask yourself, will that competition yellow be soon enough for Denny Hamlin? Marty reported they have an issue with that car. It's going to be crazy to me that they chose not to fix it. It's a car I'm really going to keep an eye on here early to see if it can handle like they hope.
Let's get a few more updates before the green flag. We'll start with Parker.
Well, Rick, we talk often about what a win allows you to do in this round of 8, going towards the championship 4, like it does for Joey Logano in terms of preparation. What about the mental side? Just earlier on the grid, I see Paul Wolf and him laughing. I walk up there and say, what's so funny? They said, hey, we were just discussing how bad it would be to be those other guys having to find their way into the championship 4. We're just here to race for fun and go get a clock, Marty.
Parker, Martin Truex Jr. told me this morning if I could pick one racetrack where I could go for a must-win scenario, this would be at Martinsville. He's won the last 2 races here. He has the car that won last fall here at Martinsville and the same exact pit stall that they've won the last 2 races out of pit stall 12. He said, if nothing else, that's a good omen for us today, Dave.
Marty, Chase Elliott was so confident in his pre-race interview, he had our analysts thinking they should change their winner's pick to him. When I talked to his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, this morning, he said, yeah, we've got a shot today, especially since we made changes from the June race. We went back to what worked for us so well last fall, added the tire data with a new right side tire in June. We think the 9 car has a shot. He starts 8th today and needs to win, Rick.
Needs to win. That is key words there for a few different drivers. Up on the flag stand is Clay Campbell. He's Martinsville Speedway president. He will be today's Xfinity 500 honorary starter over there to the right, not holding the flag yet. That's Clay. He's a finalist for the Comcast Community Champion of the Year award, along with Bubba Wallace and Matt Collig from the Xfinity Series, one of the owners there. The Comcast Community Champion is going to be crowned in conjunction with NASCAR Championship Weekend in Phoenix next week. So congratulations, obviously, to all of those finalists. And Clay Campbell, it stays in the family here at Martinsville. Want to listen in to Brad Keselowski's radio here before the green.
Everybody, let's have some fun today. Best racetrack on the circuit. Let's get us the clock and get us the ticket punch for next week. Have some fun.
Sounds great, guys. I'm really ready. Appreciate everything you guys done to be prepared. Go make it count.
He's going to start up front as we look at the playoff leaderboard. Keselowski right now 25 points above the cut line, but that all can switch so quickly depending upon who's leading the race.
Yeah, don't let that 25 point margin fool you. Truex, back-to-back winner here. Kurt Busch runs well here. Chase Elliott, I'm shocked he hasn't won here. Bowman fast the last time they were here. I think all 4 of those drivers below, as well as all 4 above, I'll be honest, all 8 of those drivers could win this race, and I wouldn't be shocked.
And if one below that cut line wins, that's that win and you're in. You automatically make it into the championship 4 and have a shot at the title next weekend. So what was wrong with the 11 car? Could it be maybe knocked out of the car before the green flag even flies?
It really could. You know, you were asking me the commercial break, well, what's a travel packer? Well, all of these cars show up to the racetrack set at certain heights for inspection. That's not how they go on the racetrack. So they add components in there. They remove them after inspection. So I honestly don't know what that component is for the 11 because every team uses something different. I haven't seen what the 11 uses, but it's something that limits the travel on the right rear. I don't know if they feel it can come out on its own on the racetrack or if they're going to have to remove it on a pit stop. The big question is, how is it going to affect this car if it isn't, you know, if it doesn't fall out under speed? You know, suspension's very finely tuned. You're not supposed to have an extra packer in there. You see Denny moving the car around somewhat violently. Everybody does to warm the tires up. I don't know if that's in hopes that it'll fall out or maybe get an idea how it's going to feel.
Steve, is it something you could see right now? Could you tell that it's still in there, or is it would make that much of a difference?
Years ago you could. Not anymore. These cars are so low to the ground already, so hard to see.
Getting ready for the second to last race of the season to determine the championship 4. Clay Campbell shows him the green flag for racing at Martinsville. The 11 dives down to the curbing.
Yeah, Denny trying to get to that low line. Harvick jumps to the outside. See if he can make some ground up on the high side.
Instant reaction is the 11 looks just fine to me. Running through the corners, Denny Hamlin fashion right around that curb.
See Kevin Harvick stuck on the outside, was not able to get down. Dave Burns and I had a conversation this morning. A lot of concern in the pit area about running too many laps on the outside. That could hurt your tires. We saw that here in the spring.
Let me ask you a question, Steve. The 11 car drives up here and takes the lead. Do you even worry about taking that thing out of there?
Nope. Yep. Nope. If it's driving good, we're going to worry about it when we get home to figure out if it's still in there or not.
And now looking to the inside, Martin Truex Jr. must-win situation for the 19 team. Can he take it away? Watch as Martin Truex Jr., if he does get the lead here from Brad Keselowski, what it will do to the points.
Hamlin dives down into the inside of the 88, contact with the 2.
Real aggressive move by Hamlin right there, following.
Still aggressive in the back of the 2 car, moves him up the racetrack. Denny into second place.
Here comes Denny. And look at how close it is. Now Brad Keselowski 1 point ahead of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. We wouldn't have even thought he would be in the question of not being able to make it into the championship 4.
Shocking to see the Penske car struggling here. They are known for that early run speed. Right now, the Gibbs cars, though, had that speed in first and second position. Kurt Busch in third.
Junior, does it surprise you? That seemed like a message early from the 11 of Denny Hamlin to the 2 of Brad Keselowski. We're only 5 laps in. We are not driving around here easy all day long. We're going to be aggressive.
That definitely sets the tone for the rest of the race. That's how he's going to race. That's how he's going to race the 2 at least. Look at the damage to the 2 car on the quarter panel there.
Yeah, I think the 2 car also, he was pretty aggressive in the block. You know, he didn't give Denny Hamlin any room whatsoever. Getting into turn 1, really pinched him down big time trying to get that bottom spot. So both of those drivers, in my opinion, early set the stage.
Take another look at what happened, why there's a little bit of a wrinkled fender there on the 2.
Denny drives to the inside of the 8-8 here. I don't think that Keselowski or his spotter expected Denny to get that far up to the quarter panel of the 2 car. Then down here in turn 1, Denny just leans on him a little bit. That's typical Martinsville right there. Send the guy up the racetrack. Easy way to get the spot.
Chase Elliott makes it by Joey Logano. Again, Logano's locked into the championship 4.
When you look at the rundown, Truex and him, looking for a win in first, Kurt Busch in 3rd, Chase Elliott in 6th. I mean, 3 of the cars below the cut line on their way in, and they're inside the top 6. And Bowman.
A lot of smoke here.
That's the 34 car.
Yeah, there's something majorly wrong. Looks like,
big tire rub there for the 34. That's Michael McDowell behind the wheel, but some contact has been made. And how long will that tire last, Steve?
Not long with that amount of rubbing on the left side. You have to be very careful. No interliners here. If that tire goes flat, you will definitely lose control. We'll see if he tries to get to pit road. It's on the back stretch where he has to get down. That's right here. It looks like he's going to continue. Take a look at what happened. McDowell up the racetrack a little bit. Jimmy Johnson to his inside. Boom. Looks a lot like what happened with the 2 and the 11. Jimmy thinks he's going to roll to the inside of the 34. The 34 turns down.
Yeah, that was a heavy, heavy shot.
Yeah, I heard the crew chief right there said left side's only if we come. The problem with pitting under green here is it's 1 pit road, which is very long. You're going to lose at least 2 laps, if not 3.
Under green.
Under green, yes. You're lucky if you don't lose 1 under yellow.
Yeah, Michael McDowell right now stuck on the outside, can't get down, has that left rear tire rub.
He's got some guys tight against the curb, getting even more contact with the left side of his race car. He's got to be careful here.
Junior, you mentioned that normally we see so much short run speed from this 2 car, and all the Penske cars did not see it. But look at Brad Keselowski. He has started to run these guys down. Denny's holding up Kurt. Kurt's holding up the 2 car of Brad Keselowski right now. Parker.
Well, guys, we watched Kurt Busch in that 1 car obviously move up from, I think Michael McDowell's about to lose the left rear here.
Come down.
Turn 3, see if he gets off the racetrack. He is able to get to pit road there, but as we were talking about Kurt moving really fast off the start, this is exactly what they had in the first race this year, but around halfway, they lost a hit on that car, so they've come here hoping that they've made the correct adjustments to show that short run speed, but not lose it as this track potentially gains rubber or changes as we go through this race. Starting off really strong right now, hounding that 11th.
Out of 1,000 laps that had been run previously here at Martinsville, the last 2 races, Martin Truex Jr. led over 590 of them, and he's out front again. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers. High-definition in-car cameras. All you have to do is visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download that mobile app today. Want to take a look at today's Xfinity fastest lap. It's Chase Elliott. Remember, this is a half-mile racetrack, and he's turning a lap here at just over 19.99 seconds a lap. That's over 94 miles an hour is the average speed around this racetrack. Pretty impressive. As Steve called it, a paperclip shaped racetrack, long straightaways, and very, very sharp turns at the end. Marty.
Rick, I got further definition from Chris Gabehart on exactly what a travel packer is. It's in the right rear shock for Denny Hamlin. It's about a 1-inch piece of rubber actually on top of the pit box. They recreated what it is inside the car and what they're going to have to take off on this stop. Gabehart described it as not optimal, but it's not that bad either. Obviously, Denny Hamlin started 4th today. He's moved up to 2nd, but they are going to remove that travel packer from the right rear shock as soon as they can.
The damage that Brad Keselowski got in the first couple of laps on that left rear fender, not bad, not rubbing the tire, and that is the good news. When I talked to his crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, about why Brad is good here, the first thing on his list was takes care of his car. You saw Brad back out, get the 2 where it was comfortable, and now is going back on the attack. Marty, what's up with Harvick?
Had a chance to visit with his crew chief Rodney Childers this morning, Dave, and he kind of laughed at everyone saying, hey, we're advanced to Phoenix. He said, you know what? As great as our regular season was and the playoffs have been for us, we're not automatically advanced. We have to gain stage points today, and you see that on the left-hand side of your screen. Obviously, as soon as the 19 took the lead, Harvick immediately jumped down to the bottom of the leaderboard. Right now, he's just +5 above the cut line, and yes, he's accurate. They do need stage points today as we watch Chase Elliott and the 2-car Brad Keselowski battle for 4th, guys.
Yeah, things heating up there between these two as Chase Elliott just moved Brad out of the way.
Well, it all started right here. They're in lap traffic. Brad gets held up a little bit. Chase did a great job of timing it to make it 3 wide. Brad wanted to resist, but Chase was there, wasn't going to give it to him. A little bit of contact right there. That was just a great job by Chase Elliott. See right here, Chase has the decision. He decides that's my spot. Moves Brad out of the way. Chase did a great job of setting that pass up, using that lap traffic to help make the pass.
This is edgy early, Rick. Edgy early, I like it. Long way to go. You got to think Brad's been moved twice now before lap 30 of the race. See if that really gets him riled up. What kind of race will he run going forward, knowing that these guys are going to be this aggressive?
This is a must-win situation for the one of Kurt Busch right there. As we're looking back from Denny Hamlin and that Coca-Cola onboard. And Kurt Busch, you know, up here being aggressive, running in the 3rd spot right now behind Hamlin, trying to put some pressure on him. He's got to win if he wants to go to Phoenix with a shot at the title.
We talk a lot about all the guys in the playoffs. I think Kurt Busch, you know, people perhaps don't give the credit. He is a champion. He won the first ever format other than the full season all the way back. In 2004, he won that championship. So he says, listen, I know it's 16 years later, but why can't it be me? Why can't I win here and go on to Phoenix?
Yeah, Kurt, talk about Kurt being aggressive. He's been very patient at the same time. He carries a lot of speed.
Oh, he's in the fence right there. Just talking patient. Jinxed him.
He's been all over the 11. It's been very easy on the back bumper of that 11 car, but he is ready to go. Starting to apply even more pressure. That's why he got into the wall there.
And Denny's moved up the racetrack here, running about a half a lane higher through the corners, trying to improve the handling on this 11 machine. Kurt just gets into the fence.
All right, drivers, rhythm racetrack. You get into a rhythm here at Martinsville?
Absolutely. You can move around, too, to change your groove. Just mentioning how Denny was running a little bit higher. Chase Elliott's used a very high entry to turn across the middle of the corner and come off the bottom to make some passes. It's a lot of fun to try to find what's working and then try to improve on that lap after lap after lap. Parker.
Well, guys, we noted Kurt Busch running really great here right on the back of the 11. First of all, mentioned it's a little loose after touching the wall there, as we saw coming off the corner. But another thing is, you talk about how good he is here in his position to play us need a must win. With 2 wins, though, there's been times in his career where he's admitted it's not one of his best tracks. But he said since coming to Chip Ganassi, the way these cars drive has just really suited his style here. And it has shown up 3 top 10s in the last 4 races at Martinsville. And right now, looking like he might be able to get by this 11 and try to run down that leader.
Parker, meanwhile, in the 11 camp, they're expecting the 1 to get a little more aggressive here as you see Chase Elliott kind of joining this party and putting some pressure on Kurt Busch. So, Steve, let's talk about this right rear shock for the 11 team. Obviously, Denny turning pretty good lap times right now, but with limited travel on that right rear shock, what would you be worried about if you're Chris Gabehart? Maybe more right rear tire wear? Obviously, they've kind of survived most of this run, and with the comp caution coming here in, 23 laps, they're going to get a big break when that does come out.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to take the time to make the adjustment and pull it out of there? It doesn't seem like the 11's having a handling issue. Still running well inside the top 2. The only reason I think he's moving up the racetrack, Rick, is I think he's straddling the darker area of the concrete. We're starting to see some Goodyear tire rubber go down. You can see really good in that shot. Just moves around and try to find some of that clear track. And at some point, you have to just say, look, it's no big deal, and race within it.
Martin Truex Jr., after getting by Brad Keselowski, has led 36 laps and counting. You're watching NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC, the Xfinity 500.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Denny Hamlin running in the 2nd spot right now behind teammate Martin Truex Jr. And Martin coming in, must-win situation. He was below the cut line. He's doing everything he needs to do right now. Leading this race out in front. A competition caution coming up in about 13 laps.
Such a nerve-wracking race, though, because even though the 19's out front, 47 laps in, this race is just never smooth. We always see a bunch of yellows. Some guys will pit at some point. Other guys will pit at a different point. You're going to be in traffic. So drivers, you just have to mentally come in knowing you're going to be in traffic. Even as the leader, you're going to be lapping cars.
Yeah, all day long, you're going to have to keep your temper calm down. People are going to run into you. You're going to run into people. And talking about it being a rhythm racetrack. Well, let's ride along with Kevin Harvick. Watching his foot cam here. Watch how he goes back to the throttle. Able to go pretty aggressively to the first part of the throttle, and then has to play with it a little bit. Junior on corner exit trying to get the rear tires hooked up.
Yeah, he pumps brake pedal, make sure he's got good solid brake pedal and consistent pressure, corner after corner after corner. Comes off the pedal as he gets down to the center of the corner to get off the brakes and let the car turn. As he goes to the gas, just easily trying to go with as much power as you can without spinning the rear tires. They're wanting to spin right out from under the car. That's why you can't just mat it wide open and go on corner exit. Great battle right here. Second place.
Yeah, about to lose second here is Denny Hamlin. So Chase Elliott, another driver who came in below the cut line, knows that he needs to get up front, win this race if he wants to advance to the championship 4, and now Denny Hamlin falls back to third.
These two had a little contact earlier in the race. Got a replay of that coming up here. Show you what was going on. Just before this pass, old Denny gets in there and locks up the left front and gets in the back of the lap car. Chase accidentally gets into the back of Denny as well. Denny just having a hard time trying to keep that car on the bottom. He's found a groove that's kind of found some speed or some decent speed, but he's holding these guys up, Dave.
And Junior, just a quick reminder why Chase Elliott is so far behind at this race. Last week he was near the cut line, but he finished behind every other Chase driver at Texas, finished 20th. And that was because of a strategy call they had to make after he heard a sound in the 9 car, Alan Gustafson, crew chief, told me, but did not pit because his lap times were not falling off. It would have been a different strategy. They stayed out longer, and by the time they came to pit road for a tire that was going down, it really kind of killed the strategy they were on. But again, laps not falling off, Marty. You don't call your guy to pit road.
And boy, Dave, this is a nightmare scenario. You see Denny Hamlin, maybe Kurt Busch going to get in there for that spot. The nightmare scenario for everybody that thought they would be in the championship 4 with Truex leading, now Chase Elliott in second. Look how the leaderboard has changed all year long. Everyone's saying Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, a lock for Phoenix. Right now, Denny Hamlin +8, Kevin Harvick +2, and points very precarious here as Truex starts to work lap traffic. This is exactly what those guys like Hamlin and Keselowski and Kevin Harvick did not want to see, the 19 up front and the 9 right behind.
Well, this is what it's looked like in front of Truex for the last 3 or 4 laps. He sees Chase Elliott coming, but the 38, the 13, and in front of them, it was the 43 a lap ago, beating and banging in front of Truex. They were trying to stay in front of the lead lap. Look at this move right here by Bubba Wallace. He's got to get to the inside of the 38 with a little shot, and then he's got a cannonball through. Boom. I got to go. Leader's coming. My spotter's telling me I got to stay on the lead lap. I know I have a yellow in just a handful of laps. So it's not just the leader who's aggressive. These other cars, they know staying on the lead lap is a key to having a good day at Martinsville.
Ty Dillon in the 13 just in front of Martin Truex Jr. trying to stay on that lead lap, but look at the 9. Chase Elliott right there, right on the back bumper for the lead here at Martinsville.
Chase takes that high entry into the corner to try to turn the car low to get underneath Martin. Martin's going to dive down on the inside of the lap car. Ty Dillon here. He's going to take the opportunity for Chase away unless he wants to go 3 wide, a little early for that. Look at the high entry. Chase doesn't have to go in this high, but he's going to turn the car across the center of the corner and come off straight and low and really get a bunch of good drive off there to do that.
It's a big advantage right now for Chase Elliott because no one is behind him putting pressure on him. So he's able to move around, try different things. The 19 car Truex cannot do it because if he tries it and it doesn't work, the 9 will take the spot.
Now the 19 tries that entry. That's how you run this track if you can. Like you say, if you don't have pressure from behind, work that wide entry to be able to get a good straight drive off the struggle at this racetrack for every driver is getting the power down on corner exit. And getting the car straight and low is the best way to get the power down. We watched Kevin Harvick fight and the caution's out.
Competition caution has come out now. I mentioned Kevin Harvick fighting. He's back there in the 9th spot now, just behind Kyle Busch. So Truex Jr. up front. Chase Elliott was running second. Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, all playoff drivers in the top 5. Then it's Blaney, Logano already advanced to the championship 4. Kyle Busch is 8th. Harvick 9th, and 10th is Alex Bowman.
That was a stressful 70 laps right there, guys. If you think about it, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski both seeing Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, and Kurt Busch up there. Any one of those 3 guys wins, and you got this incredible battle to be that last guy in the playoffs.
That's why all
stress starts right now.
Yeah, all those guys battling hard there, trying to stay on the lead lap, were wanting to be one of the guys to get that, either stay on the lead lap or get the lucky dog because they knew this caution was coming out. Ty Dillon was able to do that.
Yeah, Ty Dillon in the 13 will get the free pass. He was the He was the highest scored car a lap down, and congratulations to Ty and wife Haley. They just had their baby, Captain. Their son was born right after the Texas race. As a matter of fact, Jimmy Johnson flew Ty Dillon back so that he could be there for the birth of their son.
So the nerves for the driver, I think, have settled in because they've got to run these 63 laps. But the pit crews, they've been watching. Now it's their first chance to kind of get involved in this race. This was always, when I was part of a pit crew, you just want to get the first pit stop underway, kind of settle into your day. Parker.
And we saw Kurt Busch in fourth there, touch the wall a little bit with the right rear. That's because just a little loose in that one car, lacking right rear grip, sliding it a little bit too much. Going to be a track bar adjustment and air pressure adjustment, Marty.
Denny Hamlin's going to hit pit road. He says it's a little bit tight at the 2/3 mark of the corner. Keep your eye on the right rear. They're going to try and pull that little packer out. They put that right rear on. They're also going to get 4 Goodyear tires for Denny Hamlin. Their drive off is better than most. It's actually on the left rear. They pull that out, so the stop will be a little bit longer. Truex said a flat wore out the rear tires. Truex said his car was too tight, Dave.
The 9 crew put a fluorescent pink tape down for the left side tires of Chase Elliott to be on when he hit pit road. He hits them perfectly. They changed 4 Goodyear tires. No adjustment needed per the driver. He'll come off pit road in the second position where he went in.
Top 2 hold their spots. Logano gains 4, Bowman 5 on pit road. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Xfinity, internet that's more than just fast. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. And by Fifth Third Bank. This is racing a Fifth Third better.
Well, all the spotters today are wearing these DK hats. David Keith recently passed away, a longtime spotter. He's also a former driver with some ARCA wins. Passed away recently, and all the spotters showing their respect and wanted to let his family know they were thinking of him.
The spotters definitely a fraternity, a group of guys that hang out together a lot. Obviously, at the top of press boxes, the eyes for all of these drivers. And now the choose rule coming into effect. So far, 1 for 1. Now that inside line gets an extra car with Kyle Busch going down there.
A lot of conversation about the mistake the 11 had with that travel Packer left in the car. We were thinking it was the right rear, but watching the pit stop, it had to be the left rear. A little extra time taken on the left rear to remove it. So all is well in the 11 camp. He lost a little bit of time on pit road, but they felt like they had to make an adjustment. That being in the left rear can make the car a little bit tighter. So we'll see if the 11 drives a little bit better here this run.
The only thing concerns me, Steve, is that what did they learn that first run, right? Like you're trying to build all day long on your changes. The information that you got that first run may have not been as good. And also thinking about this restart yesterday in the Xfinity race, this outside lane got the lead an awful lot. Let's see if Chase Elliott can get it done.
Field approaching the Geico restart zone. Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, Chase Elliott on the outside. Great launch for Truex Jr. There's a little bit of smoke back there. A little bit of rubbing. Joey Logano coming up here and challenging for second now as he gets to the inside of the 9. The 9 and the 2 looking for an opening somewhere.
Denny Hamlin's going to force it down here inside of the 88 for 5th place. A little beating and banging right there between those two. Right behind him, Ryan Blaney trying to become part of this battle. Blaney's had a pretty good run today.
Jeff Ellis with the 11 learned. I think the 11 learned you don't want to drive around with the travel packer in because the car looks a lot better now that they've taken it out.
Impressed for the 9 of Chase Elliott. He's able to dive back behind the 19. He was able to clear the 22 of Logano.
Love that bumper cam on the 11, looking right at the left rear quarter panel of the 2. Look at this. There's already some damage on the bumper of the 2 from an earlier accident or contact with this car. Let's see if it'll be a little cleaner this time. And look to the left, that red and white curving, guys. You know, as drivers, that will upset your car if you touch it like that.
Bumped it right there. Sends the car up the racetrack just a little bit. Takes away a little bit of momentum he has down the straightaway.
You want to see what Denny Hamlin's doing right here. I want to be on that left front tire. Right on that curb. Oh, got a wreck in 1 and 2.
Clint Boyer in the 14 and Austin Dillon in the 3 have been collected. Boyer in his final start here at Martinsville. He'll be in the TV booth in 2021.
Looks like a little contact to the left rear of that car. I wonder if that's how this all got started. Clint was having a reasonable run in that first 50 laps of the race up to the competition yellow. Had some good fast laps. A lot of damage right there. Looks like he's trying to block somebody from making a pass to the inside. His teammate. Eric Almirola says, no, sir.
Not my teammate next year. I don't have to be nice.
They were 12th and 15th. And so Clint Boyer goes on a little bit of a ride. Austin Dillon nowhere to go. getting gear for race day? Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats, die-casts, much more for all of your favorite drivers. You can visit NASCAR.com/shop. If you're a Kevin Harvick fan, you might be wondering right now, what's going on? Marty, what's happening with the Ford?
Yeah, just +6 above the cut line right now, and not happy with that last restart. Listen to this radio conversation.
This thing is rough. I mean, bad. Taking off, won't turn, sliding the back. 10-4.
Harvick and Rodney Childers will tell you, Rick, this is not their best racetrack in the playoffs, but Rodney told me, listen, we put more work into this race maybe than any other playoff race, and hopefully they're hoping anyway that work pays off today. And Harvick, who won the regular season title, now that close to the cut line, guys, just amazing.
Yeah, and I remember, talking to Rodney Childers right in the middle of all the wins. I mean, Kevin Harvick has been to victory lane so many times, and he said, we have to continue to prove ourselves. And I thought, wow, that's incredible that you guys, as successful as you are, think that you need to prove yourselves. But obviously, things like this can happen, where you are right now near that cut line and might not have a shot at the title.
That's the beauty of sports. Doesn't matter what your resume is, doesn't matter how great last week went or last season went. Every time you line up on the grid, you have to go out and reprove kind of what you're here to do. And to your point, I didn't see the Ford this close to the cut line, but here they are. Still early in this race, a lot can go either for you or against you.
Car we saw early in the race, battling in the front. Kurt Busch was running in 4th place. He had a 20-second pit stop that last stop. So that has put him all the way back into 10th. Just cannot afford at this racetrack to give up spots anywhere. Pit road, on the track, anywhere. It's so hard to pass. It's a long way to go, but every time you make a mistake like that, it just gets that much harder to get done what you need to get done.
Well, the last restart, we saw a little bit of contact between the 22 and the 9. Take a look at this right here. The 9 was on the outside of the front row. 22's trying to fill the spot. 9, I think, gives him room. The 22 just kind of pushes off the curb, hits him in the left rear. This is kind of short track racing. No intent on either guy, but the result is the 9 at the racetrack with a little mark on that left rear tire we'll have to keep an eye on.
Getting ready for the restart. Martin Truex Jr. once again will be on the inside. Chase Elliott on the outside, the 19 and the 9.
A little better start with Chase Elliott, but not good enough. He's going to have to enter side by side with Martin Truex Jr. if he's going to try to take that lead. He's going to have to figure that restart out a little bit better. See, Denny Hamlin now has got to beat Logano off this corner to get to the bottom. They're lined up on the bottom. Denny knows it. Driver, you know you got to get behind the way. He got good rear grip leaving turn 2. He's going to pull down in front of Logano.
He clears him for 3rd. So Denny Hamlin to 3rd. How does that affect the points? Well, he's +8 on the cut line. Harvick +2. Again, all of this changes if Martin Truex Jr. isn't up front, but he is. He's leading. He continues to lead. 78 laps already for Martin Truex Jr. up front. This first stage, just 49 laps remaining. We talked about aggression and patience. Now would be a good time for patience. But at the end of the stage, you're going to be thinking aggression because all of these drivers are looking for points.
From what I've seen today, I haven't seen a lot of patience out of any of these drivers. They're taking the positions when they're available, Dave.
Crew Chief Alan Gustafson, the crew chief of that 9 car, had no patience for Joey Logano during that last little dust-up we showed you. Here, listen.
Goes up bullshit again. We're going to wreck him here, and we're going to wreck him next week. Thought he had plenty of room. He did. He's a f***ing hack. He drives like that all the time. Over it. Go after that left rear tire like it's candy. That's all they do. They just drive right in your left rear, try to give you a tire over, affect the left rear tire. Constantly.
Discussion under caution, and as you guys know, you don't want to make a lot of enemies out here at Martinsville because it's a place where payback can happen. The 9, again, not happy with the 22.
All right, so Rick, at the top of the show, when I said mathematician and psychologist from the crew chief, I was thinking keeping the driver calm. That was Alan Gustafson doing anything but. And you know what? I like it. When it's a must-win, Alan's had enough. He has drawn the line right here. He wants his driver to draw the line. He's like, I've had it. I'm done racing these guys this way. This is a car that's been in every highlight reel at Martinsville except going to victory lane. They've been wrecked, they've been turned around, they've been turned around sideways. It sounds like Allen, a guy that has won here before, won with Jeff Gordon, he knows what it takes. He's egging his driver on, reminding him we are not going to be pushed around for 500 laps. Parker.
And that was something that Paul Wolf mentioned to me as one of the goals here today, crew chief on the 22, not to make enemies. If they were going to do anything, it was not to make any enemies heading into Phoenix, knowing they were locked in to go fight for that championship in the Championship 4. So that is something that this team was really focusing on, maybe not quite doing that well here at the beginning.
Chase Elliott beats on the back bumper, the leader. Tries this high entry, is going to come off a little bit lower and get a great position on the 19 car down the front straightaway. Truex going to let him have it. New leader into turn 1.
Chase Elliott takes the top spot at Martinsville.
What a great corner by the 9. That was textbook.
And so I said, if anybody else leading other than Martin Truex Jr., it could shake up the points. Well, Chase Elliott was in the same boat as Martin Truex Jr., so the swap of leaders does not help Denny Hamlin. It does not help Brad Keselowski, and it doesn't help Kevin Harvick.
Also, what's not happening to Denny Hamlin is that 22 car. He is all over the back of him. I like the move from Truex, though. Clearly, Chase Elliott's car is a little bit better. Just give the spot up. No sense in driving into turn 1 side by side, possibly losing multiple spots. This 22 car, Logano. Denny Hamlin is being very trusting of Joey Logano. That line he's running higher through the corner. The entire time, Joey Logano can see underneath, can see the side of that 11 car. He knows that's how he's got to pass him. Denny is being very, very trusting.
Yeah, Denny's running about a half a car length up the racetrack, except for right here. Most of the laps he's been up a bit higher. But putting the left side's basically in the track where the right side rubber's going down on the racetrack. Trying to affect the balance of his car. Pass for 5th place. Ryan Blaney goes by his teammate, Brad Keselowski, right behind these two guys. 22 still trying to put pressure on the 11.
Look at that right there. You think that the 11's going to give the spot up, but he's not. He's just running the line he wants to learn, that he wants to run, Marty.
And they're better in exact opposite parts of the corner. You see there, Joey Logano much better on entry. Denny Hamlin, center of the corner off. He is better, but it's surprising he's kind of leaving that half lane open, going on corner entry every time, and yet he's able to keep Logano behind him as Logano gives him a little bit of a shot. But you got to feel like Denny's maybe a little bit motivated. The team mistake early on before the race. Denny was not happy when he got inside the car. And Steve, you talked about that psychologist part of a crew chief. He's been on Denny. Hey, stay focused here, stay determined. You can tell Denny Hamlin a little extra motivation today. Make sure he's in the championship 4.
Well, Rick, it's not 500 miles, but it is 500 laps, and we have yet to reach 100. Long afternoon to go here at Martinsville.
Chase Elliott's out front now. Martin Truex Jr.'s falling to second. cut race for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. The Xfinity 500 from Martinsville Speedway. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Leader Chase Elliott finished 5th here in June, but crew chief Alan Gustafson wasn't really happy with that. He said, we didn't have the car cutting through the center of the corner like we needed to for speed, so we made a big change to what worked last year for this race. And even though he's not outrunning Truex by much right now, Elliott has the lead very strongly. Meanwhile, Daniel Suarez in the 96 car today. Look at that peacock paint scheme, very nice for Daniel. As a proud Hispanic man from Mexico, he celebrates Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, today and tomorrow. Of course, that's a celebration of those that have passed and those who are still celebrating the continuity of life. And that's a sugar skull helmet, the Calavera. There's a duplicate of the one he wore last year about this time, and he's signing them and giving them away as we have caution on the racetrack. But for the next 24 hours, you can still go on his website, DanielSuarezRacing.com, and sign up to maybe win one of those babies. It's a sweet treat in Mexico, and it's a sweet helmet if you can get it, Rick.
Yeah, you see Garrett Smithley in the 77 stopped on the racetrack, so he brings the caution out. Here's how it happened.
Yeah, he had something happen off turn 2. Was slow all the way down the back straightaway and finally came to a stop right here on the exit of 4.
So still waiting to roll is Garrett Smithley. The caution actually benefits the 96 of Daniel Suarez in that peacock paint scheme. Peacock Premium is free for all Xfinity customers, as he will get that free pass, be back on the lead lap. That will put 30 cars on the lead lap here at Martinsville.
We're already starting to see split decisions. The leader, Chase Elliott, the 19 of Truex, stays out with a few other cars. The majority of the lead lap cars come to pit road. Parker.
And one of those is a 4th place car of Joe Logano, who said he was just struggling with the drive off late in the corners. You see that adjustment in the right rear to try and help that car get off the corner there for Joe Logano.
Parker, the first 2 cars stayed out. Denny Hamlin was the first one to come to pit road, and he drug everybody behind them. Hamlin saying the car is still too tight at the 2/3 mark of the corner. That's what they got to fix, Dave.
Tight in the middle of the corner for Brad Keselowski, but on the late part of the exit, the car is too free. They'll change 4 Goodyear tires here, fill it full of Sunoco fuel, get him off of pit road. Where will he come out, Rick?
Pretty tight race off of pit road there. Saw the 11, the 2, the 12, and the 88 coming off of pit road. And with just 25 laps to go in stage 1, already beating and banging short track racing from Martinsville Speedway. The official app of NASCAR puts race coverage and live in-car cameras right in your control. You can unlock premium content today with a free trial to get access to driver and team radio communications. All you have to do is search NASCAR in your app store, or you can visit NASCAR.com/mobile. 2x2 once again as we get ready for the restart. Coming to the green, it will be 21 laps, a sprint to the end of stage 1.
Yeah, and the thing to keep your eye on, the leader stayed on the racetrack. But back there, a few more positions, cars on fresh tires. Hamlin, Keselowski, Bowman. Can they make a run with new tires?
Chase Elliott right up against the curb.
Truex going to have an opportunity here to get into second place.
Denny Hamlin, you see back there, he's making it 3 wide on the bottom.
Clint Boyer sends his teammate up the racetrack 4 wide. A lot of contact back there in the pack.
Yeah, I think that was maybe because of the accident from earlier.
Absolutely.
They're still 4 wide, trying to settle it out here as they go to 1.
Look what that did for Denny Hamlin. He's already in 3rd place with new tires. When Clint moved Eric, it just created a huge hole for Denny.
So now pressure being put on the 9 of Chase Elliott by Martin Truex Jr. in the 19. Here comes Denny Hamlin in the 11. Fresher tires on that car.
Are you going to see how much more grip new tires have right here on corner exit?
Dives into turn 3 to the inside of the 19. Hamlin trying to take second away.
Truex needs to fall in behind him as quickly as he can. It's all about making lap time now. 18 to go. Just got to try to get as few people as possible to pass you.
And stage point's huge for the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He's trying to take the lead now from Chase Elliott.
Yeah, these points can kind of somewhat separate him between himself and Brad Keselowski in the points as they battle it out right now around 3rd and 4th in points.
And Kevin Harvick all the way down in 16th place right now.
Let's take a look at what was going on with that restart. Clint Boyer sent his teammate up the racetrack. 4 wide, a lot of contact with the 47 here. These guys have went all the way to the back of the pack. Clint says, hey, you remember that issue in turn 1 and 2 where you sent me around? Caution's out on the racetrack.
Caution.
We got a car spun out in turn 4, the 51.
Yeah, 0 just dumped us.
Joey Gase, and Joey doesn't appreciate Quinn Houff right now as the 00 is driven by Quinn.
I think we're going to see contact.
I think there might be.
Jeff, I think you're going to see contact.
Well, let's see if he was right. Yeah, he was right.
And they were all alone on the racetrack, so obviously Quinn had some intention there.
They were the last 2 cars on the racetrack in line there, and that's what's great about Martinsville. These guys typically kind of just run their own race and try to stay out of trouble, but everybody gets a little bit out of shape here in Martinsville. I don't care what car you're driving, where you're at on the racetrack.
So now was that caution an advantage to the 9 and the 19 on old tires, or a disadvantage? Because now it brings everybody closer to them.
Jeff, I'd pit. If I'm Martin Truex Jr., I'm coming to pit road. It's not about points. It doesn't matter. You know you're getting another yellow in 10 laps. You're going to get another 10 or 12 cars to pit again. You can leapfrog those. You're on the wrong end of this pit strategy right here. Another caution's coming in inside of 15 laps. You're going to have to pit at that point. You're going to give up all your track position. Just do it now and hope at the end of the stage you get maybe 10 free spots.
What about the 9 and Chase Elliott? He's chasing points a little bit more than Martin.
Yeah, when I look at where the 9 is on points, I can make the argument that he needs to stay out and get points. So I think he stays out. The 19, he pits. There's just not a pathway forward for Martin Truex Jr. on points. I would pit right here, but they're going to choose to stay out. I don't like this call for the 19.
And again, a new crew chief on top of the box in 2021, James Small, calling the shots for the 19 team. He stays out. Mr. Mercedes, a Peacock exclusive drama series based on the best-selling trilogy by Stephen King. Detective Bill Hodges, coaxed out of retirement and into a thrilling chase with serial killer Mr. Mercedes. Full episodes are available only on Peacock, the streaming service from NBC Universal. Sign up at peacocktv.com. Joey Logano in the 22. Here's the radio from him of a guy who is locked into the championship 4.
FYI, it's just really tough to pass them. I'm trying not to be physical. No, just be smart out there. You're doing a good job. Just let them know you're there. Oh, I cut them a break for so long, though. I agree. I mean, I know they're racing for a lot, but eventually, that's enough.
Eventually, enough's enough. Well, Joey Logano's only going to take it for so long. Right now, Denny Hamlin surging ahead. Under 10 laps to go at Martinsville for stage 1.
Alex Bowman in that blue 88 car with new tires. That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to see the 9 pull down in front of the 19. He was able to get it. Now he's battling for 3rd.
Bowman, another one of those drivers, must-win situation. The 8 in the round of 8. Playoff drivers all fighting to be in the top 4 in points or a win. Get you into the championship 4 for next week's championship race.
Brad K to the inside of a 19 car. Alex Bowman goes around his teammate for 2nd place. Puts Chase Elliott back in 3rd. New tires coming through the pack. Logano to the inside of the 19. Truex just having to give him a little bit of room here. Doesn't want any contact.
Still early in this race. Coming up, and there's some more contact between the 22 and 19.
Truex fighting hard on this outside. He's been kind of letting most of these guys go, but at some point he's got to kind of maintain some sort of track position. Joey's like, man, you let them all guys go. Why are you racing me so hard? Now the 18 car not going to be able to get on the inside of his teammate. Maybe letting him get back in line.
See that 18 car Kyle Busch, what he did, entered very high. Was able to try to get under the 19. Wasn't able to make it happen.
Wonder how hard he'll race here to get around the 19. He said he felt bad for beating him last week, denying him that opportunity to lock himself into the championship final. Here's the 2 car going to the inside of the 9. Man, I thought Brad was going to slide up the racetrack here a little bit. Looked a little free getting in the corner. You could see it cost him on corner exit.
If you're Brad Keselowski, you know Chase Elliott has older tires. You feel like you should better make this pass immediately. Chase doing a great job putting up a battle.
He is.
Right here is where Chase gets a good run on corner exit, but not good enough this time. Brad's got the spot.
He's definitely in the preferred line. Has position on the 9. Teammate Joey Logano going to try to fill that hole.
That'll be 3rd for Brad Keselowski. That's the fight.
Comes to 22. 9's going to get a great run off the corner, though. Be able to survive and keep that position from Joey. Joey, the high entry. He's going to turn across the center of the corner here and try to get under the 9 at the 9. Keeping it low on corner exit.
Yeah, Chase Elliott's doing a nice job of checking everybody's speed right in the middle of the corner. Right here. That slows the momentum down from the 22, but this time Logano's going to take it.
Got to run. Last lap of stage 1. Can Logano make the pass? Logano, a guaranteed spot in the championship 4. Chase Elliott, not so much. Needs every point he can get.
Chase Powers back in front of the 22. He's going to give him the bottom here.
The 11 with his 11th stage win of 2020.
Great fight from Chase Elliott to finish 4th. He just got up on the wheel and made that happen.
Gaining points, valuable points. Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. finishes 6th. Denny Hamlin, 7 wins already on the season, and he wins stage 1 at Martinsville. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. Coca-Cola, together tastes better. And by Toyota. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. The Xfinity 500 from Martinsville Speedway. Next week, the champion will be crowned at Phoenix. But today, in this race, it is all about winning to advance to the championship 4. Denny Hamlin wins stage 1, 10 points. Very helpful to keep him above the cut line. You notice a name that's not on there, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick not finishing in the top 10 in stage 1. Parker.
Joe Logano finished 5th in the end of that stage there, and they took this extra couple laps under the caution here to evaluate the damage on the right front. TJ Majors taking a look at it, giving it the A-OK. It was not rubbing on the right front tire. Joey said the fire-off speed is great in the 22 car, Dave.
Because
Parker give a call to Denny Hamlin. That was his call on the last stop to come down pit road. It resulted in a stage win for Hamlin. He said he's too loose in, too loose on exit. They're going to go down on the track bar, Dave.
Because Alex Bowman knew he was changing tires this stop. They went hard that run and finished in the 2nd position in the stage. Just a little bit of a change for him. Needs to get the right rear of the track a bit more. As for Brad Keselowski, the balance is good, but had a little less drive off, so they wanted to make a change there.
So Chase Elliott grabs 3 spots. So does Martin Truex Jr. Denny Hamlin loses 1. Jimmy Johnson, how about the multiple-time winner here at Martinsville? 3 spots up on pit road. What a huge weekend. Next weekend will be on NBC, the Breeders' Cup from Keeneland, as well as what a matchup, college football. Notre Dame hosting Clemson. And remember, Uiagalelei, that freshman quarterback, had a heck of a showing yesterday to keep them at the #1 spot.
Well, that's just Saturday. Then Sunday, we're going to crown a champion in the Cup Series at 3 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock, Breeze, Brady, Saints, Bucks. It's going to be a great Sunday night football. You didn't even mention the Xfinity Series Championship on Saturday. I mean, it's going to be a full day. It's going to be a full weekend of sports.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney said that Trevor Lawrence would be out. He'd have to sit for that game against Notre Dame, so that's why the freshman will probably get the nod once again. Take a look at the choose rule. Martin Truex Jr., after running up front for so long, all the way back into row 5.
And Rick, I'm shocked with the limited amount of tires, only 8 sets in the pits and 17 laps on the tires, that all of those cars came to pit road. They all didn't pit, but the majority did. James Small, you mentioned it, first year on the box for the 19. Well, If he would have listened to me, he'd have lost track position and burned a set of tires. So apparently winning in the spring, he's got a pretty good handle on Martinsville.
Got it figured out.
Yeah, so now you have Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch, the brothers on the front row, and the oldest tires, and a little group of tires with Custer, Dillon, Almirola, and Wallace, and then brand new tires on Elliott and Hamlin. We'll see how it works.
All right, field approaching the Geico restart zone once again. You mentioned the Busch brothers making up row 1. Kurt Busch on the outside, a great restart. Trying to clear his younger brother on the inside.
This is that moment we talked about at the top of the show. Regardless of your strategy, you would be in traffic. So now the Busch brothers are out front battling for the lead, but all the front runners from earlier are mired back in traffic.
How about this Rookie of the Year candidate? Cole Custer running up here in the 3rd spot.
Kurt Busch doing a really good job on the outside. Kyle just does not have the speed to really fend him off. I think lap after lap, though, it's going to be an advantage to Kyle on the bottom, but you would have thought by now Kyle could have cleared Kurt on the outside.
Jeff, what a week last week was to Kyle Busch in the 18 car, finally going to victory lane. He made it known that he did not want to lose his winning streak at 15 seasons. He won last week, went to 16. He said those closing laps were the most nervous laps of his career. This is from a guy that's won 2 champions. So he knows how to close the deal out. Look at this, Richard Petty at 18, Pearson with 17. And I mean, I don't see why Kyle Busch won't win the next few years, so I think he can continue to climb this list.
Yeah, one of the greatest, could put his name at the top of the list amongst the greatest. As his brother just passed him.
Had he not won this year, he would have been the 3rd champion, defending champion, to go winless. Benny Parsons after his 73 championship, and my father after his 1980 championship went winless the following season. I would have lost that Jeopardy question.
Well, and he wouldn't, I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to been on that list, but those are some pretty good names to join too, actually.
We don't want to join every list.
Yeah. So we talked so much about, you know, the 9 leading and the 19 leading. Let's not forget the 1 of Kurt Busch is in the same situation, currently leading. That puts him into the championship 4 at Phoenix. With the 11 and the 2 currently, the 4 of Kevin Harvick. I can't imagine if Kevin Harvick leaves here not in the championship 4, Marty.
And yes, the points is a little bit of trouble there with the 17 car, Chris Buescher. And I'm not sure if that's going to bring out a caution. Looks like it might, guys. But yes, the points on the left are correct. Kevin Harvick below the cut line. Right now, Harvick sitting in 25th position as the caution comes out, Rick.
Yeah, we're going to have another restart. And you see damage to the 17, lot to the front.
Down in turn 1 and 2, those guys, there was a lot of contact between him, Daniel Suarez, a few other people. Looks like that he's got so much damage on the nose, he's broke something up there in the cooling. So Daniel gets down here, a lot of chain reaction, getting in the back of each other, and the 17 runs in the back of the 96 and breaks something on the front end of that car. It's dropping fluid.
Clear, all rolling, watch the 96, low, 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 low.
After contact,
you got a wreck, watch the 17, he's got left rear tire.
Water coming out of the car. It's broken the hose off the radiator or something, so they're gonna have to bring it to pit road and work on that.
You see that fire coming out from underneath, so it must be an oil cooler.
My goodness.
Well, and we were getting shots from the 4. I mean, Kevin Harvick was back here.
It's not been a great day for the 4 car, Marty.
Yeah, I wanted to finish this story as let you guys talk about what happened with the caution there. Just take a listen on the struggles that Kevin Harvick has had inside that 4 car. This conversation happened on the last run.
Absolutely killed it through the center of the corner. Won't take off, won't turn, no grip on exit. Too tight through the whole center of the corner, and then it's got the slide sideways at the 5/8 3/4 mark.
Yeah, I would say Rodney Childers has his hands full. So on that last stop, they did several changes. That's why Harvick is so far back in the field, including pulling a spring rubber from the right rear spring. But, man, they have a long way to go. And you guys mentioned it now with the 1 up front leading the race, Kevin Harvick below the cut line, -2. Who would have thought that coming into Martinsville?
What a season he's had. 9 wins. He's the winningest driver in 2020. He's been dominant. And I saw a statistic earlier that if he doesn't win today, 5 races is going to be the longest winless streak that he's had this season. And now he's in the possibility, I mean, contention of not making the championship 4.
Yeah, that winless streak could cost him a chance to race for a championship a week from now in Phoenix. It's hard to. I didn't see it. Well, you and I had this whole conversation. Oh, what's the race going to be like? What are they going to be in points? And I think I said every conversation. Oh, the 4's fine. 4's fine. Ricky can't lose that many points.
Right.
Well, the pressure on all these different teams and drivers. Who's going to fold first? Like, which driver, which team is going to make the biggest mistake first? That takes them out of the equation. I mean, the pressure's building. I know it's a long way to go in this race, but it's being proven to them right now. Every lap matters, and every position's going to matter. Who can stand up to it, and who's going to fold?
Harvick right now running 25th. He is the furthest back of any of the playoff drivers in this round of 8. Kurt Busch is up front and needs to win, so he's in the right place. Kevin Harvick. Tonight it's Sunday Night Football on NBC. Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys are going to face Carson Wentz and the Eagles. The coverage starts with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern. Well, the fluid put down on the track has kept pit road closed. They're going to continue to clean the racetrack up. Gives us a chance to get another break out of the way. So we'll do that quickly and be back to racing here in Martinsville. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico as we look down track cleanup continuing here at Martinsville. A lot of fluid was put down.
Well, I think a normal amount of fluid was put down, but a lot of speedy dry was put down. They turned this place into a beach. So a lot of cleanup happening right now, trying to get this thing ready to go. That stuff there's still good. They can use that again if we have another
put it back
spill
in the
on
bucket.
the track.
It's reusable.
I just leave it right there.
Spoken like a car owner.
If we got another, anybody has any kind of leak on pit road, we've got it.
Recycle that, don't buy new.
He goes around picking up tie wraps.
Its absorbency is amazing.
All mechanics out there know you can reuse that stuff over and over.
Well, it probably doesn't give you as much grip, and so they're going to want to clean that up. Dave.
Guys, this racetrack is special to so many people, including the crew chief of the 2 car there for Brad Keselowski. His name is Jeremy Bullins, and he grew up about 30 miles from here in a small community called Walnut Cove. He told me this morning, I loved coming here as a kid. My dad, Willie, was a mechanic on a local dirt late model. My uncle Mike raced go-karts, and they loved coming to Martinsville. Brought me here when I was about this high, and I've been coming here ever since. I said, do you remember the first race you were here? He goes, no, but I think DW was in the Mountain Dew car. I remember that real well. He said, I'd love to win here today and get Brad onto the championship 4 in Phoenix. A lot of drivers complain about this place. Some crew chiefs don't like coming here. Bullins loves it, and so does his driver.
That's why you put the decals everywhere.
You reference it by the decals, right?
Well, I mean, the decal made coverage. That's why you stick them on everything. Headsets.
Darrell Waltrip won 11 times here at this racetrack, second only to Richard Petty.
He's in the Mountain Dew car in 81, 82. So that's a long time ago.
Well, we're only 156 laps into this race, but we have seen this race provide fireworks in years past. We can't forget the Kenseth Logano all the way back in 2015, retaliation from an accident in Kansas earlier in the year. Kenseth hits Logano, and then Hamlin goes to move to 24, spins it. What's Chase say? You wrecked me. And then in 18, Logano said this was our best chance to make it. He moves Truex and then backs it up by winning the championship. And then back in 2019, some pushing and shoving on the racetrack, which leads to a little shot and then a little more pushing and shoving, and Denny Hamlin gets thrown to the ground. I don't know why 2020 would be any different. And we're, like I said, 156 laps in. We've seen tempers flare. We've seen fenders wrinkled.
We've already seen contact on the racetrack quite a few times.
That's why I just love this playoff schedule. I know we've had different varieties, but we had the Roval, we've had Talladega, we've just had some fascinating racing. And I think that why not just come to a good old short track to figure out who's going to go to Phoenix for a championship. No aerodynamics, no horsepower. It's kind of how good you can drive, how good is your setup, but then at some point, it always comes down to what are you willing to do? And I think it tests every driver out there what they are willing to do and what opportunity they're going to have to cross that, I guess, moral divide between good racing and wrecking something.
Yeah, remember we saw Joey Logano, he said, this is my opportunity. This is it. This is my only chance of making it to the championship 4. Well, he took advantage of that, went on and won a championship. And so what are you willing to do? Well, whatever it takes to win a championship.
Well, remember that Truex made the point to say, he won this, but he won't win the war. And Truex is great, and I'm not calling him out, but he was wrong because then Logano went and he won the championship. So that aggression at Martinsville did pay off.
Keep in mind also, guys, this race, this is the first year it's been a cut race, the first year that's the last race in the regular season of playoffs. That even adds that much more pressure. For those of you who don't know, this choose rule allows the drivers to pick whichever lane they want and go the inside or the outside. When you get to that mark on the racetrack, you got to decide, do I want to go left or do I want to go right? Gives the drivers a choice. It's made some very interesting racing.
So now brothers will be nose to tail. Kurt Busch in front of the 18, and on the outside will be Chase Elliott in the 9. So the 1 and 9 making up row 1. Kurt Busch in the 1, Chase Elliott in the 9. Green flag back in the air.
Mentioned the choose rule, Jeff. Right now, by my notes, if I'm second, I'm taking the outside of the front row. It just pays off too many times that even if you can't get the lead, you seem to be able to fall in line in second.
Yeah, no doubt. A little bit better tire on this 9 car than on the 1 car. See already the change of line into turn 1, trying to get low on corner exit.
Denny Hamlin fighting once again, moves up to third ahead of Kyle Busch, and almost bumper to the back of the 1 is Chase Elliott in the 9. That's for the lead.
Again to the high side here to rotate this car in the middle of the corner and try to get the drive off, but he's not able to do it. Kurt getting off the corner pretty good here in the 1.
And watch what happens as the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, closes that gap on the 9. Chase Elliott will no longer be able to enter the corner that high, because if he does, Denny Hamlin will take the spot from him. Already.
He gets into the back of the 1 car. Kurt Busch up the racetrack. Chase Elliott to the inside down the back straightaway here.
Kurt, good power on the corner exit, though. Not going to contest this spot getting into turn 3.
Chase Elliott did a great job not making contact. Kurt really ran him tight down into turn 3. Chase Elliott going to take the lead here. The Napper Chevrolet. Denny Hamlin's going to follow Chase through, taking the FedEx Toyota down to the back straightaway into turn 3. Kurt Busch going to try to fight on this outside. He's going to fall back into position here in 3rd place, right in front of his brother, Kyle Busch.
Kurt right there, I think, understanding that was his brother behind him. Turn left, let his brother know, I'm gonna come down here. Cut me some slack, I need this spot.
Brothers work that way. Do you and Ward work that way here at Martinsville?
No, we didn't, but they're doing it. It won't last long if Kyle's faster than Kurt. You know, Kurt and Kyle will have to go, but trying to cut your brother a little bit of slack in the situation that he's in. Need to win this race.
Right behind these guys in 5th place there, you see Eric Almirola in the 10. Worked his way back into the picture here after being moved out of the way by his teammate. They've used some clever strategy to get that track position back for Eric.
Behind them, it's Truex Jr., Cole Custer, Joey Logano, Ty Dillon, and Jimmy Johnson all in the top 10.
Points bottom left-hand side. First guy out, Brad Keselowski -2. We've been focusing a lot on the leaders, but look at this battle right here. The 6 of Ryan Newman gets a run on the 2. The 2 takes him basically over the pit commitment line, which is allowed racing here. We've seen it before. The 6 says, I'm not lifting. I'm going to drive in here and drive you up the racetrack. Brad Keselowski is back there in traffic, and it is a dogfight back there. No one gives an inch.
Here comes Almirola in that 10. Eric Almirola trying to take the spot away from Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch with older tires.
Truex trying to put him in position to attack and take a position here as well. Kyle's going to race hard down into the corner, trying to maintain this spot over here.
Kevin Harvick still outside of the top 20, running 24th right now. You see him on the bottom of the screen.
And the thing I don't like about Kevin Harvick's car is watching him come off the corner. He just does not have speed on corner exit. This car does not look good at all right now.
This field is so even when everybody has relatively good tires on their car. It's hard to make any headway in the top 20, 25 until the tires start to fade a little bit. It can be frustrating because you think, man, we've lost something. Our car's not quite as good, but it just shows you how competitive this field is. You take care of it and sit there and just try not to burn the tires off of it in frustration. You start to make up time and start to pass these guys, go by these cars that you think you should be beating as the laps go on.
That's Corey LaJoie in front of that 21 car. You know, Kevin Harvick just did not come into this race expecting to be battling Corey LaJoie. It's just not the kind of funded team. Let's see what Kevin Harvick is struggling with. Drives in a corner, watch his hands. Pretty smooth, pretty straight. Turns the wheel right here, goes to the throttle. Looks like to me the car just is too tight. The car will not point for him, won't change directions. Right here, the car needs to turn left so he can throttle up. The car's just not doing that for him.
Chase Elliott drove away from the second place car, Denny Hamlin. But Denny's under pressure from Kurt Busch right now for second.
It's 2011 since Kevin Harvick's won at this racetrack.
Yeah, I don't think about, you know, Kevin Harvick when I think about Martinsville. I know he's been strong here in the past, but some of the guys are, you know, currently doing so well at this racetrack, and this team, Kevin's team's kind of struggled here the last several trips to find some consistency and some good balance in their car.
About Kurt Busch, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm sitting here with almost 30 laps more on my tires than Denny Hamlin in front of me, and I'm sitting here running with him. Feel pretty good about my race car in that situation, Steve.
Without a doubt. I mean, this is a racetrack where new tires matter, but a good race car can trump those newer tires. I like what I see out of Kurt Busch. We got to remember, you know, stats will say whether it's true or not. This second stage seems to have a lot of green flag running. So with 85 laps to go, we just wonder if this is going to be the long green flag run where we see the lead lap cars kind of get narrowed down. We'll see if Kurt Busch can still manage that on these older tires.
Out front, Chase Elliott leading stage 2.
A massive development in the playoffs. Kevin Harvick, the regular season champion, everyone's favorite to be in the championship 4, had a flat left rear tire. He told the team he had to come to pit road. He had a fierce battle on the track with Matt Kenseth. We talked about how their changes on the last stop put them way back in traffic, and no one was giving Kevin Harvick any room on the track. They were not giving him any quarter, and Kevin Harvick had a cut left rear tire. He came down pit road, and when you pit under green here at Martinsville, you lose a massive amount of time. Harvick now down 2 laps and way below the cut line. Man, things have shifted quickly here at Martinsville, Rick.
Yeah, and he can't gain any ground right now, being 2 laps down. He's the first car scored that many laps down.
So here's a replay. The 42 car on the inside of Kevin. They're coming off of turn 4 here down the front straightaway. A lot of contact as they lean on each other. That right there cuts the tire on the 4 car. The caution's out on the racetrack. Here's an opportunity for Harvick to at least get one of those laps back if the leaders all pit.
You can see it right there. You can see the 42 had damage on the right rear quarter panel. The quarter panel was sticking out a little bit. I think that added to this issue.
So the 15 car's on pit road with a lot of damage. See what happened here. Ooh, left front tire goes down and no control. And that's what brings out the yellow. Brendan Poole in the fence.
What a huge break for the 4. You mentioned it, but he was 2 laps down, which is almost impossible to recover from without having a few breaks. Well, this is the biggest one. He's only 5 cars behind the leader, behind the one of Kurt Busch, who's running 4th. I imagine these top 4 cars will come to pit road. They got 35 laps on their tires. When they do, Kevin Harvick, Merry Christmas. First lap back. Now you're only 1 down, Rick. So many options to recover from 1 lap down.
And a lot of racing still to go. Haven't even come close to the halfway point of this race.
And also another point, guys, is there's really nobody a lap down. Like Kevin Harvick, you know, if he can get back 1 down, he will then have a fairly easy pass to be the first car 1 lap down and then get back in the lead lap.
Just timing of a yellow. That yellow could be the difference between Kevin Harvick racing for a championship in Phoenix or just racing.
Well, but let's remember, Kevin Harvick has not looked good in this race yet up to this point. So even though he gets his lap back, he was still running outside of the top 20.
So not that you want to play dirty pool. Not that you do. But if you're the 1 of Kurt Busch or the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. and you feel like you're kind of in a must-win, or the 11 of Denny Hamlin and you want to try to hold a guy down, one of those cars in front of Kevin Harvick, it would be bad for their strategy, but they could stay on the racetrack and trap the 4 2 laps down. And that would be an aggressive move. I don't know if I would be that concerned about another car. But
Kevin's going to get one, though, from the free pass.
No. He's 2 laps
no
down.
Free pass
there is no
time.
free pass because it was a 15 who crashed.
Gotcha.
The only way he gets one back here is if everyone in front of him pits. I imagine they all will. That's the right thing to do. But if the 11 really wanted to kind of stick him, let's listen to the 2.
Do you feel like it's worth telling him about the 4 or wait till the end of the stage? The end of the stage. Copy.
And there you go. All the leaders pit. The 4 is going to take the the wave around. He's going to get to 1 lap down. Parker.
Kurt Busch pits out of the 4th place position. Just said he was too loose when in the lead, so to make a small air pressure adjustment on the left side and 4 Goodyear tires, Marty.
Denny Hamlin still struggling with the same thing, Parker. Too tight at the 2/3 mark of the corner. He said, I have way too much wheel in it when I get back to the gas. Martin Truex Jr. says, I feel like we're going to be good, but we're just a little too free on the long run, Dave.
Leader Chase Elliott hits his marks perfectly in the 9 car. He said, when I get into my rhythm, I can control what the buildups are doing in my tires, but I got to get in that rhythm. Really no changes over them on this stuff. They'll change the 4 tires and put the Sunoco fuel in.
Coming off pit road, the top 3 are going to hold their positions. Again, Brennan Poole was in the position for the free pass, but he brought the caution out. No free pass. Martinsville short track racing, NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. It's the Xfinity 500. Kevin Harvick, obviously after an issue, the left rear tire going down, was 2 laps down. We saw the 20. They came off of pit road and had equipment left in the car, a wrench.
I've actually done that before. Not
you personally did?
I did. I was a rear tire carrier. Michigan, stuck it in there, make an adjustment. Forgot it. Actually, never even went up to try to grab it out. Car left.
We did that yesterday. I left that drink on your truck. Remember, pulled out of here.
Good point. Same thing.
So let's revisit Kevin Harvick. So he's going to be, he stayed out. So he was able to pass the pace car because he was 2 laps down, past the pace car. Now he's 1 lap down. He is the only car on the racetrack that's 1 lap down. So for a bad situation, there's light at the end of the tunnel for him. Still a long way to go in this race.
So the car that's right in front of him should look out.
We got to be careful because if you cause the yellow, I've seen NASCAR say, "Oh, no free pass to you. You can't cause your own yellow." Saw that firsthand too.
I was getting ready to say, I think there's somebody else on this broadcast team that have seen Seen that as well.
4 car does have a lot of laps on his right side tires.
Green flag once again out here at Martinsville as Chase Elliott on the inside, Martin Truex Jr. on the outside. Both drivers coming in that were below the cut line, fighting to be a part of the championship 4. Chase Elliott as the leader. Now you see the playoff points on the left side. Logano with his win at Kansas. He's in the championship 4. Chase Elliott leading here. He's also trying to lock himself in. Denny Hamlin, enough points. Brad Keselowski, also enough points. Kevin Harvick, the struggles. He is below the cut line.
Martin Truex Jr. in that 19 car let Denny Hamlin go to pull back in front of the 1 car, so he did lose that spot.
What a job the drivers below the cut line are doing. We got Chase Elliott first, Truex third, Kurt Busch fourth, and Bowman 6th. The 4 guys that need to win all running in the top 6.
See Alex Bowman in that blue car. He is stuck on the outside of Joey Logano, desperately needing to clear Joey Logano because they are lined up underneath him. He cannot get down. He's going to lose potentially lose a lot of spots right here.
Doesn't want to get freight trained out there on that outside line as Ryan Blaney is going to fill the hole as well in the 12.
Oh, big run right here by Bowman. He's going to turn left, get to the bottom.
Blaney's going to try to put it in there. Actually cuts him a little bit of a break. Taps on the bumper right here in the middle of the corner.
Junior, that's a place where you just got to pull down there and hope he doesn't push you out of the way. It's really all you can do.
So, guys, I'm going to ask you guys, do you and did you race playoff cars differently? Is that Ryan Blaney saying, you know what, he's a playoff car, I'm going to cut him a little slack?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate. You don't want to have to do that, but that's, it's the box you're in if you're not in the playoffs. I would say that, but also now if it's a guy who's trying to take a spot away from your teammate in the playoffs, then you're sort of, it's your obligation to race that guy. So if you can do anything to help one of your teammates by racing another competitor, then you race them really hard and hope that your boss is paying attention.
Bowman currently running 7th, Junior, and trying to move forward in that 88 car. Greg Ives' crew chief told me this morning, we've been moving forward on our short track program. Very pleased with what we've been doing there. And Alex again needing a win today. Tapped the wall earlier today. They pulled that damage away from the right side of the 88. And it's been pretty good since, trying to make his way toward the top 5. And maybe in stage 3 be in position to win.
Dave, you mentioned moving for the 88. It's been announced he will move to the 48, stay in the same organization, obviously, with Hendrick Motorsports, but also last week it was announced Kyle Larson will be taking over for that vacated ride that was at Hendrick Motorsports after Jimmy Johnson retires at the end of this year. He will drive the number 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports in 2021. Take a look at this.
A big battle back here between Kevin Harvick and John Hunter Nemechek. Kevin is needing this spot. He's been putting all kinds of pressure on John Hunter Nemechek, but Nemechek's not giving it to him. Keeps that battle up. He wants that spot. Just contact. Kevin Harvick just keeps pushing. Remember, Harvick has older tires on his right side. He only put left sides when they pitted.
Oh, look here. Harvick's like, hey, you gave me the flat tire, so I'm going to give you the bumper.
Well, he's got to go because he could get lapped. I mean, they could come around and lap him because he does not have very much speed.
I know he's got to go, but he doesn't have the speed these guys around him have. He doesn't have the tires. You mentioned the tires on his car. They're holding him back right now as he lost a lot of speed to the 38. Now the 20's right up behind him here, going to try to take the spot.
He's already, I don't know, half a lap, 3/8 of a lap from getting lapped. Marty.
And I think that's the concern for Rodney Childers is just, that their leaders are coming, number 1, but also there's another car 1 lap down, James Davidson. They want to make sure they stay in this free pass position before the caution comes out. But I think the biggest issue, Steve, is just the handling of the 4 car. I think that's the concern for Rodney Childers right now. You're right on board with Kevin Harvick right there in the center of the corner. He just says it won't go, and you see everybody just pulling away from the 4 car, center the corner off. He says, we are absolutely struggling. So Rodney Childers has got to find a way to make this car better, clearly, for Kevin Harvick this afternoon.
Well, I talked about the respect at the front. Blaney showed Bowman. Well, back here in the back, they don't care that you've won 9 races. They don't care that you're the favorite to go to Phoenix. They're racing you. They're like, you got back here. This is your fault. You have old tires. 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson. Man, I'm coming through. And to make it even worse for Kevin Harvick, is the 66, the last car in the lead lap, is really unable to keep up as well. He's about another straightaway behind Harvick as we see a battle towards the front with the 11 and the 19. And if that 66 goes a lap down, then Harvick won't be the only car 1 lap down.
Yeah, won't be in that pre-pass position because he wouldn't be scored as far in front as the 66 is right now. So that's the one thing that Kevin Harvick's got to worry about right now. Martin Truex Jr. in front of Denny Hamlin. Still Hamlin 31 points over that cut line because of the issues Kevin Harvick is having right now. Harvick 15 points below the cut line, a 9-time winner in 2020, potentially not making the championship 4.
Like I said earlier, I didn't think it was possible. Marty said he talked to this team and they were worried about points. They know they don't run very well, but we have not seen Harvick for at least the last couple of years put into this position. Now, in years past, he had been in must-wins and he had those walk-off wins. He won at Phoenix that got him to Miami. He had a walk-off at Dover. He knows how to do it, but this isn't a win. This is just a survival. I'm not sure Kevin Harvick's ever been in the position where, hey, just run in the top 10. That's all you have to do, and here he is, unable to run inside the top 30.
Yeah, running 31st right now. And Chase Elliott continues to close in on the 66 of Timmy Hill. So Harvick fighting. You see the damage to the front of that car. Everything he's got. A championship on the line. Kevin Harvick needs to be able to stay on this lap and have a shot at that free pass. Chase Elliott continuing to lead here at Martinsville. The caution has come out here at Martinsville, but not good news for Kevin Harvick.
No, unfortunately for Harvick, right before the caution came out, we mentioned the 66. Pace was down. Well, here the leader, Chase Elliott, goes to the inside of the 66. This is in 3 and 4, lapping the 66. And then, Junior, you told us the yellow was coming, sure enough.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek has been beating and banging here with the 37 car for a few laps, and I just knew it was a matter of time before the patience ran out. Sent Priest around down there in 1 and 2, brought out that yellow. Parker.
And there was a lot of discussion on Kurt Busch radio about not hitting here because they only had 40 laps or so on the tires, thinking it might be a good time to stay out. You see the adjustment in the right rear to try and tighten up that car a little bit more on the exit of the corners.
See Martin Truex Jr. coming down pit road. He said, we're really good on takeoff. We're just too free on the longer run. James Small told Truex on the radio, there's 43 to go. I think everybody's going to come, and only a few came, Dave.
Including the leader, Chase Elliott, takes the 9 car to pit road. They asked him, what do you need? He said, still happy. So we got the 4 fresh tires and fuel. And Marty's right, a lot of guys stayed on the track, Rick.
A lot of guys stayed on the track. Harvick not in position for the free pass. Chase Elliott fighting for the win here at Martinsville.
All right, Rick, we talk a lot about championship coming up for the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. Well, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Championship finale from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Log on to enascar.com for coverage. Michael Conti, Ryan Luza, Nick Ottinger, Bobby Zielinski racing for a $300,000 purse, $100,000 to the winner. Dale Jr., you got a car in this. Michael Conti drives for Junior Motorsports.
He does. Had a great year. Won this past race in Texas to get his shot at that $100,000. So we're excited for Michael.
I saw this caution, and 16 cars stayed out right here. That's going to line up Chase Elliott in that 9 car, Martin Truex Jr. in the 19, as well as Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch, both. They're going to line up way in the back. It's one of the fears at Martinsville. You know you're going to get lined up different spots throughout the day, but it's easy to get in a wreck. It's easy to cause a wreck, get damage in your day. Let's see if they can get through this field cleanly.
Flat tire just happened to Kevin Harvick. Same thing could happen to those two, Rick.
Beating and banging positions so important here at Martinsville. Back into the gas to go.
That's the best we've seen a driver restart on the outside. Still not going to be enough for Joey Logano.
Still 39 laps to go in stage 2. As Denny Hamlin surging ahead, here comes Ryan Blaney in the 12.
Brad Keselowski fighting hard off of turn 4, stepping out the rear of that car. He's trying to get every stage point he can here.
3 Penske cars running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
And Rick, I really think everybody wanted to come to pit road and get fresh tires. Drivers, you want that grip, and I think they're worried about running out of tires. Most guys only have 4 sets left to get through the rest of this race.
Brad Keselowski knows how important the stage points are here, and I see him getting in the back of his teammate, Joey Logano, the last couple of corners.
Look at how big it is when either the 9, the 19, or 88 or 1 aren't leading this race. Kevin Harvick's back in. He's above the cut line now, just by 1 point. But if any one of those below the cut line gets up front and is leading, that puts Kevin Harvick below the cut line.
Brad continues to put the pressure on the 22 car for 3rd place. Laps winding down here, unraveling late here in the stage 2. Just can't seem to get the runoff corner exit to be able to move to the inside. Beats on the back bumper, that 22 again, moves him up the racetrack, but Joey holds position.
And
Joey's going to move over and let him go here.
They're teammates. We got to remember that too.
Yeah, let's see if Joey can keep some pressure on the 2, or if he just doesn't have the pace.
Denny Hamlin out front. Joey Logano moving over and running in the 4th position. We now invite you to the fast lane. Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Harvick now, as we look at the points, +1 over the cut line. He is still a lap down. He's running 31st on the racetrack, fighting to stay in the championship for contention.
Great battle right here.
Yeah, he is flying up through the field. Restarted in 14th. He is passing right now for 5th place. New tires right here, guys, shows you how important it is. But what a great job by Chase Elliott to carve through the field.
And if he gets up front, that once again will put Kevin Harvick below the cut line.
Yeah, we got 272 laps to go. So much is going to happen to change the complexity of this race with Kevin Harvick and all these other drivers. The position that Kevin's in right now is just momentary.
I'm guessing he wants it to be as short as possible. Now let's hear from celebrity chef Robert Irvine with a special message from Coca-Cola.
Think of a NASCAR driver putting premium fuel into his car to get the best performance out of it. In our military, we feed our men and women that wear the cloth of our nation with healthier, smaller meals to make sure that they are up to the task that we are asking them to do. Just like NASCAR puts premium fuel in their cars, healthy food gives great results. And you know, what I always say, when you finish a meal, it should be finished with something a little sweet. Hence, finish with a Coca-Cola. It makes the finish line a lot sweeter. Cheers.
Chase Elliott's on the move. He's up to 3rd now as we watch Harvick back here, stuck in that 31st position. Again, he is a lap down. Timmy Hill once again is the first car at the end of the lead lap cars, and he's running 30th. And right now only 12.3 seconds in front of race leader Denny Hamlin.
Just in front of Chase, the 12 car of Ryan Blaney's run down the leader of the 11 car. Marty, you got more on the 4?
Yeah, 28, 20 now, 27 to go here in stage 2, and that's going to be the game for Kevin Harvick. Can Timmy Hill in the 66 stay on the lead lap in these final 27 laps as Harvick sits 1 lap down? They have made the car better. That's the good news for Kevin Harvick. You know, I asked Rodney Childers this morning, I said, I could see it on your face in 2014, their championship here. I could see the pressure on you. But it seems like it's less this year. He said, no, it's actually the exact opposite. There's more pressure right now because what happened to us last week in Texas? We had a winning car. That didn't happen, and now we're in this position. And he was worried something like this might come to fruition, and it is a nail-biter right now. It's battle for the lead heats up. Right now, Kevin Harvick, -1 below the cut line, Rick.
Little pressure there. Ryan Blaney in the 12.
Yeah,
a little bump on Hamlin.
Blaney's got to get by this 11 fast because behind him, the 9 car, Chase Elliott, is coming quickly.
And fresher tires on the 9.
They got a big gap on the 2 car, Brad Keselowski, who's being fought right now with Martin Truex Jr.
Chase Elliott, he's going to turn, make a hard left right here. He's going to get by or get next to Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney just not able to get full throttle on corner exit of turn 2. 9 car able to apply a lot more throttle to be able to accelerate off the corner and make that pass with ease.
Their second, Chase Elliott, if he gets up in front of the 11 of Denny Hamlin, that will put Kevin Harvick below the cut line.
Well, Chase Elliott is so fast right now. Those newer tires, just so much speed. Look at Denny Hamlin all day long. He's shown that bottom 3/4 of a lane. I just think that's flirting with disaster. Just showing somebody that much on the left side of your car is dangerous. You could run into.
He's running that line with some purpose. He understands this track as good as anybody, and I think he's fighting something in his race car that's forcing him to use that particular line. But 9 car going into the lead here down in turn 1. Let's see how much Hamlin can fight to keep that from happening. Down the back straightaway, side by side. Denny on the outside. He's going to give up this spot to Chase Elliott, new leader off turn 4.
And as crazy as this sounds, that affects Kevin Harvick as well, because now you have a much faster car that's trying to run down that 66 of Timmy Hill to put him a lap down sooner than he would have been.
23 points below the cut line for Harvick now. The last time a Hendrick Motorsports car made the championship 4 was back in 2016. Jimmy won the championship. Chase Elliott now out in front, trying to get his locked-in spot to the championship 4. the Xfinity 500, the determining race. Who will be in the championship 4 next week at Phoenix? Right now leading up front is Chase Elliott in the 9. See Denny Hamlin fighting here with the 19. Martin Truex Jr. behind him. Hamlin trying to hold on to that second spot. Truex Jr. trying to take it away.
And at 27 right there, the 11's going past. He's been lapped by the leader. That matters because being a lap down, Kevin Harvick no longer eligible for the free pass. So the 1 lap down battle continues for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, he is now the 3rd car a lap down in the scoring monitor here. So Harvick, even at the end of this stage, when they know a caution's coming out, still not in the position for the free pass, and still he is fighting below the cut line. 19 points below the cut line now for Kevin Harvick.
I'm not sure they've made this car much better either. Even if they get back in the lead lap, they're going to still have major changes they've got to make.
This is for second.
Truex in the 19. Right on the curve. Ooh, slips the right rear tire, almost gets into the side of the 11 car, Denny Hamlin. Down the front straightaway. I think Denny's going to probably let him have it here.
And you wonder if Denny Hamlin has been told about the troubles with the 4 car. If not, he's in full panic mode right now. Both cars are in front of him. Win this race and knock him out of the playoffs. You just wonder how much information he has.
Take a look at the Toyota driver update. Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin running 2nd and 3rd right now. And Martin Truex Jr., he's in a position where he's got to win the race if he wants to advance to the championship 4. So he's fighting to catch up to Chase Elliott. Marty?
In this battle between teammates Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr., Hamlin kind of struggling with the handling. And to answer Jeff's question, yes, Chris Gabehart has kept Denny Hamlin updated on what's happening all around the track. And Denny said, quote, "I don't care." And it was said in a way that he feels like he has the car that could win the race today, and all the other talk would be moot for him. He'll make it to the championship 4 as Ryan Blaney slips by. Meanwhile, his teammate Martin Truex Jr. says the car is much better on this run for the 19, and they have worked all evening long on that car being better on the long run. Problem is, he fell so far behind Chase Elliott with 4 to go, he's never going to catch him, but they have made the 19 better.
Rick, it's important to know that Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr., while they're putting some great runs here with 4 laps to go, they do have roughly 20 lap fresher tires than Hamlin. This is just trying to get even on tires. I bring that up because at the end of stage 2, if all of these guys change tires, the majority only have 3 sets left. That is going to be a chess match for the crew chiefs to try to figure out when to put them on. Long runs, no problem. It's pretty straightforward. But if you get a bunch of 30 lap runs, man, it's just, when do you put them on?
This battle right here for 3rd place with Denny Hamlin and Blaney. Denny is fighting as hard as he can to keep this position. He's basically gave Blaney the entire bottom of the racetrack and is just running this really high line, trying to do all he can to get great drive off down the straightaway to defend that spot. Blaney's got to be getting frustrated. He's given plenty of racetrack, but just not able to get off the corner with the 11.
Under 2 laps to go in stage 2. Hamlin won the first stage, now fighting here with Ryan Blaney in that 12. Trying to keep that position. 3rd spot.
Loose in. See him check the steering wheel.
The top 10 in the finish of this stage get points, and it's very important for these drivers as Chase Elliott is going to win stage 2. 10th time that he's been able to do that, win a stage in 2020. 2nd most of all the drivers behind Denny Hamlin. Hamlin won stage 1, and now Chase Elliott has won stage 2. Kevin Harvick still stuck a lap down, and he's still below the cut line, fighting for his championship hopes. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Progressive. Stay on track with great rates at progressive.com. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. And by Xfinity. Internet that's more than just fast. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. Parker.
Kurt Busch drove from 19th up to 5th on that run after pitting that caution there. Finally had that car in the right rear in check. Very small justice, Marty.
They told Denny Hamlin, way to fight. He held on to 3rd there. He has scored 18 stage points here at Martinsville today, more than anyone. He said, I lose too much speed on entry where I'm too free. For his teammate Martin Truex Jr., he said, I may have, quote, smoked my tires coming through the field. Too loose on exit for the 19 days.
17 stage points for Chase Elliott today. He's got his 4 tires and fuel. Did his team help him get off pit road first? Yes. He'll retain the lead, Rick.
And you see the race off of pit road. Kurt and Kyle Busch both gaining a couple spots. Logano 3. Denny Hamlin losing 5 spots on pit road.
So Rick, I know this is going to sound crazy, but this race is a lot like a speedway race. You just have to keep yourself towards the front and out of trouble. And score points when you can. Denny Hamlin came in here above the cut line. He knows the risk if other guys win, but he has to score those points to try to ensure that. And he's done a nice job with Keselowski getting 12, which is a great number, but it's 6 more than the guy he's battling against.
Well, and also Kevin Harvick came in. He was below Kevin Harvick by 15 points coming in, but gaining those 18. So now he's ahead of Kevin Harvick and running ahead of him on the racetrack as well. Marty.
So Denny Hamlin lost those spots on pit road. He's now in 8th. They had trouble on the left front on that stop. They had to hit a lot of lug nuts. Chris Gabehart said, hey, feel it out. Make sure that we got all of them tight. Check it out here. Hitting a lot of lug nuts, taking a long time to get that left front off, number 1. And then they dropped the jack. And then he said, good thing I didn't leave, because he saw they were having trouble on the left front. A lot of times you'll go, Steve. You'll tell your driver to go when we drop the jack. Denny waited. And they are now telling Denny, you have to come back down pit road. They did not get all the lug nuts tight on the left front. Denny, very upset, says 10-4. He's going to come back down pit road. That's going to put the 11 way back in the field and change the playoff picture once again, guys.
So the issue for the 11 isn't that they didn't tighten all the lug nuts. They did, but he did it with the car on the ground and the weight on that left front tire. So if we look at the pit stop again, you got to see right here, there's trouble coming off on the left front. That's where it all starts, right? He's waiting. Great point of Denny by not leaving, but watch this. He doesn't even start to hit lug nuts until the car's on the ground. So the weight of the car and the camber is pushing that wheel off. No matter how you hit those lug nuts, it will not pull up tight against that hub with 3,400 pounds of weight sitting on it. Great call by Gabehart and Hamlin. Unfortunate, now they're going to jack it up, take the weight off that tire, Marty, and make sure they're tight.
And Chris Gabehart said, listen, do not compound this. We don't need another penalty. He comes back down pit road. But a terrific point by you, Steve. Way different to hit those lug nuts when the car is on the ground versus being in the air. That's why they hit it back up off the ground to make sure they could get them tight on the left front.
I got to say, Denny Hamlin sitting there, I know he had to come back and pit anyway. That was an incredibly smart move. A driver's cue is to leave when the jack falls. He's not normally looking to see if everybody's job is done. He's expecting them to be done. Denny Hamlin, very heads up, just sitting there waiting.
To compound the issue, pit road was closed, so there he does. Sits there, lets everybody go by. So not only the last car in the lead lap, we're talking the last car at Martinsville.
How does that affect the points? He's only 4 points above the cut line when the green flag comes back out to start this final stage at Martinsville.
Truex. Yeah, big run on the outside by Truex.
I think we have the 2 best cars on the racetrack up front here battling for the lead.
Oh, Chase Elliott up the racetrack, almost into the side of Martin. I thought Truex was going to get the lead. Chase Elliott drove it way down into turn 3.
Martin Truex Jr. under a lot of pressure now from both the 1 and the 22.
Kurt Busch having a great run today in this number 1 Monster Energy Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi. They put a lot of, we talk a lot about how the 9 and 19 need to win, but he's putting himself in this position to also be a threat to win this race today in a must-win situation.
It's just amazing that three of the drivers that pretty much had to win coming in here are both sitting there running first, second, and third.
Yeah, below the cut line, all three of these in the top three. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., and Kurt Busch, all putting themselves in position to win. Look at this, the 4 and the 11, the two most dominant cars in 2020, now back here running together, and the 4 potentially not making it into the championship four.
The 4 is a lap down, hoping for a yellow. The 11 is still on the lead lap, but just look at the speed difference. We talk about the 4 needing a yellow, but he's just not fast even if he gets a yellow. Look how easily the 11 will go by. Nice and patient as requested by his crew chief, Marty.
And Kevin Harvick said on the radio a moment ago, we really haven't made the car that much better. Everything you've done is just made the car tighter. So Harvick right now in the free pass position, but different than the last few restarts. Right behind him, J.J. Yaley in the 27 car. They're also trying to fight for the free pass position. So Yaley 2 cars back from Harvick, and not any better with the handling on that 4 car. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin has moved up from the last car on the lead lap, now 27th. He's gained a couple of spots, and they keep preaching patience on the radio. They told Hamlin, listen, we still control our destiny. Don't force anything here. Long way to go.
Yeah, 226 laps to go. So yes, long ways to go.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth and Bubba Wallace, big contact right in front of Denny Hamlin.
And Kevin Harvick would have liked more contact. He needs a caution. He needs it now.
Yeah, the patience runs out as this race goes on like sands in an hourglass. It just runs out for all these drivers. And you see that's exactly what you saw with Matt Kenseth. We're going to see more and more of that from everyone on the racetrack as we get further into this race. I feel like that the complexity of this race is really going to change late for a lot of these drivers.
There's Jimmy Johnson moving to the inside of Bubba Wallace.
How hard they race back here. All through the field, the battles are intense. Trading paint, beating on each other, if not more so back here in this pack. These guys are frustrated not only by being back in the pack, but their cars aren't driving well. They're frustrated with how their car won't do what it should be doing.
Yeah,
frustrated with how the guy around them is racing.
Jimmy Johnson just took 26 from Bubba Wallace, and that's how big of a fight it is right now back here.
See Kevin Harvick, Steve, you just talked about it, how it just does not look good. Look at the struggle with the preferred lane to get by Bubba Wallace. Kevin's car it's just not anywhere near like it needs to be.
Just not good. And there's nothing more humbling as a crew chief. 9 wins. I mean, it's just a great year, and there are times we just flat miss it. We were kind of waiting for this with no practice, no qualifying every week. I'll be honest, Rick, the 4 car made it look easy all year long. No practice, no qualifying, fast once again. The 11 to Denny Hamlin, fast once again. But remember, we saw this out of Hamlin in the spring. He ran 24th. Jeff, you said it earlier. Only 40 laps on the lead lap for Denny Hamlin. He has recovered here in the fall, came back with a much better race car. Unfortunately for Kevin Harvick, not a very good car today.
And remember, Kevin got into this position because of some contact early on in this race, cut the left rear tire down. He had to come to pit road under green, lost 2 laps, and so was able to get 1 back by just staying out on the racetrack, but he's been trapped that 1 lap down and has not been able to be in the free pass when the caution comes out.
Obvious, guys, we have been talking a lot about the playoff contenders, championship contenders, but somebody having a very strong day today. This 32 car, Corey LaJoie, sitting there running at 15th. This team is way underfunded compared to all the people he's sitting there racing with. Corey LaJoie doing a very nice job this entire year in this car. Sitting there running 15th on a very, very difficult racetrack. Great job.
Yeah, even more impressive because this team, I believe, goes away at the end of the year. And Corey has made the decision to step out of this car and try to find other opportunities. So typically when teams are in that position, they don't have these type of runs. They really kind of just make do and get through the final few races, but they are putting their best foot forward here today.
Go Fast Racing is the organization that he's running for. 14 employees is what they have there. So one of the little teams, obviously, that are fighting to be out here on the racetrack, to be competitive every year.
And Corey won't be in that car next year, and they've said they're actually going to go to a reduced schedule. We don't know how many races that will be.
Corey has mentioned that he's been talking with the team already, so he's looking like he can have a ride for 2021. Parker.
Well, guys, we watched Kurt Busch there trying to fend off Ryan Blaney. Eventually lets him go. We talked about how he's been putting himself in position to win, in a must-win position, though. When we look at the lap counter, we're just past halfway, and this is exactly where that one car, here in the first race this year, started to lose the handle a little bit. Kurt Busch told me, going to this race, we need to be better at keeping up with the racetrack, and it looked like they were doing that, but sure enough, right as we're getting past halfway, he's starting to maybe lose a little bit of the handle, losing the drive off in that one car right now. We'll see if Matt McCall and that team can make the adjustments to get him back in the game and up towards the front.
We've talked a lot about all the different storylines. It's just amazing to me that two of the guys that need to win are running first and second. Kurt Busch keeps him in sight. These last couple hundred laps, Rick, are going to be pressure-packed.
You mean it's going to pick up from what we've already seen?
Yeah, Martinsville at its finest.
Still over 200 laps to go, and you never know when a caution will come out. Christopher Bell, Austin Dillon roughing it up. Chase Elliott still up front, has an 0.8 of a second lead over Martin Truex Jr. in second. Let's take a look at today's Ram trucks built to serve.
Win and you're in. 4 drivers came to this racetrack feeling like they needed to win today. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, and Alex Bowman. They're all running top 8.
And Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick, they're counting points, so they're worried about where they finish. They don't have to come in here and win tonight.
And all these teams are going to have to figure it out on these last 200 laps with only 3 sets of tires in the pits. So long run's not a big deal, Rick, but if we start seeing a rash of yellows, that does not seem like a lot of tires to run a couple hundred laps here at Martinsville.
Marty.
Rick, Kevin Harvick no longer in the free pass position. Here's a problem for Harvick. It takes Timmy Hill about 25 to 28 laps within a run to get lapped, and then Harvick loses that free pass position. So once again, he would not get the free pass if the caution came out. Here's the handling issues on the 4 car.
Anything help? Anything? No. Nothing's help. Haven't done anything to make it better, just made it tighter as far as the forward bike goes.
Listen, this is a championship team. Rodney Childers, a championship crew chief. Clearly, Kevin Harvick, a Hall of Famer. But you can hear in that radio conversation a little frustration starting to creep in. And Jeff, who could blame Kevin Harvick, right? Here he is stuck all evening long. And by the way, he's raced around these same cars. Even when he's been in position to get a lap back, he's been around these same cars that are running 23rd to 28th. I think even if they get the lap back, I'm not sure Harvick has a car to run up in the top 10 today.
And Marty, I think that's the problem. I agree with you. I'm not so sure getting the lap back is going to be enough. They just do not have the speed. You told us earlier they put a tremendous amount of effort in this race. So far, it just has not worked out.
He didn't get any points at stage 1 or stage 2. He's had issues pretty much the entire race. You see this.
Yeah, these guys going at it. Matty D on the bottom, losing rear grip, getting into the side of 3 of Austin Dillon.
Yeah, Austin was trying not to get picked behind the lap car here.
Big contact on that left rear. So I think Austin's lucky he didn't cut that left rear tire.
Yeah, he's had contact with the 21, the 95 a few laps before, so that's a tough little left rear tire on that 3.
When we talk about Kevin Harvick being a lap down, I'm confident he'll end up on the lead lap at some point if he doesn't get lapped again and go 2 down, just because we're going to see yellows late. But if those yellows come too late, he doesn't have the car to recover. That's a difference. Hamlin had to go to the back, and he's driven it up to 18th. Wow, that isn't great. That's a lot of points, Rick, right? 12 points with the 11th gain just in the last 25 or 30 laps. Kevin Harvick can. As Marty continues to report, the handling on this 4 car is not good enough. So now he's challenged with 3 things. A lap down being the biggest. Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. looking like they may win the race being the second. And the third is just not fast enough to go score points.
And think about what Kevin Harvick, the whole family, has done. They've had such a great season, 9 wins. Their son Keelan, during this COVID break, they said, you know what, we're not going to send you to school. We don't want the possibility of you getting the virus, bringing it home, and me not being able to continue to run. They've changed their lives. I mean, everyone has changed their lives because of the pandemic, but Harvick knew this was his chance. This is his chance for a championship. He's got such a great season that is on the line right here, right now in this race. If he can't get below, or he can't get above the cut line, his championship hopes go away. All those 9 wins were great to celebrate at the time, but they don't mean anything if he can't get out of this race and get into the championship 4. Dave.
There was a pathway for the 9 car to get there on points today, but winning the race is the easiest and the most plausible as Chase Elliott continues to lead here now, having led more than half the laps run here today. The car is good, the balance is good, but it's still nervous time for this 9 crew. There's a lot of racing left and a lot of action at Martinsville, Marty.
Dave, under 200 to go, and this is shaping up to be a heavyweight battle because right behind him, Martin Truex Jr. knows his only way to advance to the championship 4 again is to pass Chase Elliott. And right now, they don't have the car early in runs to keep up with Chase Elliott. So James Small working on a plan. How can we make it better? How can we get around the 9? How can we advance to Phoenix with a shot at the title, Dave?
You saw how respectful Ryan Blaney was racing playoff drivers earlier. Hopes he gets that favor returned someday, but he was very good here in June. Finished second, leading 34 laps, and they were confident they could make some noise here today in Martinsville. They've been doing that, Parker.
Well, Dave, for his teammate Joe Logano, virtue of that win at Kansas is locked in the championship 4. And then remember, last week, we went all the way till Wednesday before we actually got to race. We talked about the preparation teams can have when they get locked in that championship 4 for the championship race. Well, for Paul Wolfe, he said we already had decisions made as we see a pass for the lead here.
Here comes Martin Truex Jr. fighting now with the 9.
He slowly caught the leader, Chase Elliott. Chase in traffic here. He's having to make some smart decisions. Keep that 19 car behind him, not give up the lead.
What Martin did right there.
Man, they are fighting for rear grip on corner exit. That, you were pointed out, Martin put himself in great position to get off the corner, but just could not get the power down. Spinning the rear tires all the way down the straightaway.
Trying to get bit of the back to the back bumper of the 9. Close there. Rolled through the center of the corner very well.
Oh, the 19 slides up a little bit. Bounces the nose up the center of the corner.
Look at the steering wheel. Look at the hand movement of Chase Elliott. Very smooth, very calm. Means his car is handling really well.
Steve, what's the fuel window? How far can they go?
A lot further than they're going to want to. They can go 150 laps. This is only a 47-lap green flag run, so we got 100 laps more fuel in the tank. You think they're struggling for rear grip now?
That's what's so difficult about this race, Steve. You don't know if you're going to get short runs or long runs. It seems like you get that long run at the wrong time, you have a short run car, it really costs you.
Sometimes happens in this final stage, Jeff, and takes a short run car out of position to try to win the race. Martin.
Boy, Martinsville just a battle of inches as Truex tries to get Chase Elliott right on board with Chase on the left-hand side of your screen. And Truex has really struggled. You guys mentioned it, drive off, the car being too loose from the center of the corner off late in runs. But one thing, Steve, it is getting much cooler. The sun is setting here at Martinsville. I don't know if Martinsville is a very sensitive weather racetrack, but Truex seems to be coming to life here in the second half of the race. I think he's got something for Chase Elliott, but it's definitely going to be a much cooler race as we go on, and we'll probably finish under the lights here at Martinsville tonight. It's going to be interesting.
Here he goes, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. The opening was there. Chase Elliott went way up the racetrack on his entrance, but Martin can't close the deal.
So interesting. Junior, Jeff, we've seen Denny Hamlin do that. Just commit to the second line. You get such a good run on corner exit. That's almost what the 9 did right there to the 19.
Yeah, it's all about trying to get down the next straightaway, make that straightaway as long as possible, get up the racetrack, turn the car in the center of the corner, and make the exit as straight as you can make it to be able to drive the throttle, get the throttle down. If you're turning the wheel, you cannot mash the throttle full throttle. You can't do it on corner exits. You have to keep the wheel straight to go forward.
You can see that green-yellow car behind these guys. It's Ryan Blaney. He's starting to join this battle. Once again, that'll change.
The 48 car's got a flat left rear tire, heading down the back straightaway. He'll be coming to pit road to get that changed.
He gets off the racetrack, and so he will be on pit road, and we stay green. But the left rear tire down for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, 9-time winner here at this racetrack. Chase Elliott now a car length and a half in front of Martin Truex Jr. as we go NASCAR nonstop. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. The Xfinity 500 from Martinsville Speedway. Steve, right now we see Kevin Harvick struggling. The possibility exists he could go 2 laps down. I would liken this to, and I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but your Patriots when they were undefeated going into the Super Bowl. Everybody's like, well, they're undefeated. They've got this great season. They're going to be Super Bowl champions. Well, a 9-time winner this year, Kevin Harvick, might not make the championship 4. It's like the #1 ranked team in the world doesn't make it to the championship race.
Yeah, and this is what makes sports wonderful. And you don't believe that if you're a Kevin Harvick fan. This is what makes sports awful. But this is why you have to watch every race, every lap, every game. If it's a different sport, nothing is guaranteed. Kevin Harvick had the success of the regular season to lean on, but it wasn't a guarantee. It was a little bit of a safety net, and unfortunately, currently, he's fallen through that safety net at 15 points below. And you mentioned it, as this lead battle continues between Elliott and Truex and Blaney, they're also inching in on Kevin Harvick. 2 laps down makes it very difficult for him to gain points, and that's what it's all about. He's going to have to be in a position where he's expecting one of the guys in front of him to have trouble. That is not what Kevin Harvick wanted.
Truex was just putting the pressure on the 9 cars. They caught the lap traffic, but now he is feeling a ton of pressure from this 12 car. Ryan Blaney. Blaney got into the back of the 19, got into the left rear quarter panel a couple corners ago. Blaney's teammate Joey Logano right behind him. As they continue to work this lap traffic, it's really creating a lot of opportunities for this 12 car. Let's look at that contact. Knock Truex around a little bit here. So the 19 gets up the racetrack just a little bit. Blaney says, that's a hole. I'm going in there. Not quite. The radiator fit, that's about it. But hey, man, that's Martinsville. That's what's so fun about racing here is you can do that to the guy in front of you, and he knows that's what it's all about. He's not going to pull over and try to turn you in the next corner.
So we've run 67 laps right here on this set of tires. That's the longest we've run all day long. Who has a good long run car? We really don't know, but we're finding out right now. It looks like Martin Truex's car is starting to fall off a little bit on this run as Chase Elliott's driven away from him.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Jeff, when we were on the in-car of the 9, how smooth his hands were. I thought the 19 had the better long run car, but maybe the 9 of Chase Elliott is just taking it a little bit easier on his race car, on his tires mainly, for this long run, and staying really consistent here through the traffic. And he's drove away from these guys. Truex trying to find a way around this 8 cars, put him on the high side here. That's an opportunity for Blaney to go to the inside. Blaney's going to have his teammate now on the right rear quarter panel. Who's this going to work out for? It's tough decisions to make. And it's really hard to lap, even the lap traffic on that higher side. Obviously, if you can get to the inside of them, much simpler, much easier. Now, Blaney's going to get back in the back of the 8 car and be like, hey, man, I need to get by here. Going to actually slot in behind his teammate Joey Logano for turn 1 entrance.
But that second lane, that's something that we've seen that Denny Hamlin's been trying to do. Both those guys use that second lane to make that pass.
Now Truex back to the bottom of the 3 car, Austin Dillon.
And remember, the playoff picture changes completely if Chase Elliott or Martin Truex Jr. is not leading the race. It's the other factor that comes into play. Both of those drivers came into this race below the cut line.
Truex, the 22 of Logano, Blaney, the 1, Kurt Busch, the 2 of Keselowski, all right here together within a few car lengths of each other.
Want to get a few updates as we have now 161 laps to go. We'll start with Parker.
So you see Kurt Busch trying to sift through traffic right here. You know, we mentioned how he's been putting himself in position to win this race. Has had a great run going, but has struggled at the end of these runs with being too loose and losing the grip in that right rear. And that's the case right now for Kurt Busch, trying to just take care of it so maybe he can go up there, go further up in his field. Dave?
Brad Keselowski was confident if he could just get a long run for the 2 car, it would come to life. Well, it's been 73 laps now on this run, and he's only made up 2 positions. He's in this group. Maybe he can get a couple here, but trying to improve as the run goes on, Parker.
We talked a lot about how big that win was for Kyle Busch last week at Texas, or on Wednesday, sorry, at Texas. And I asked Adam Stevens, was that like a fuel mileage win for you? Do you feel like you sort of calculate that more than everyone else? He goes, no, we had the speed to be in the lead. We were put in that position having to save fuel, but by no means do we consider that a fuel mileage win. We did that on speed, Dave.
For Alex Bowman, the laps are counting down below the cut line by 27, only running in the 8th position. Recently, the cars had no grip on the right rear. They were unable to fix it completely last time. Alex has got to go. Parker.
Right behind him there, that black and white car of Eric Almirola. Had that little tussle with his teammate Clint Boyer early in the race, but has recovered nicely from that. Has been looking forward to long runs just like this as he looks to the inside of Alex Bowman. And then behind him is the driver that he got in that little tussle with. That is the 14 of Clint Boyer, who came across radio after bumping Eric Almirola out of the way to give him a little payback and said, sorry guys, I just had to do it. I'm sorry about that, Marty.
Parker, Denny Hamlin has gingerly made his way through the field, coming from 29th on the restart up to the 15th position. He's had a terrific battle back here, trying to get around the 41, Jimmy Johnson, on the inside of him with those fresher tires. Hamlin saying the car is still too tight at the 2/3 mark of the corner, and the longer they run, it falls off pretty good. Hamlin pretty good on the short run, trying to get Cole Custer for 14th and trying to slowly, patiently work his way through the field.
Cole Custer, Rookie of the Year, on the outside of the 11 of Denny Hamlin. As Hamlin's able to take that spot away from him, he'll move up to 14th.
We've talked all day about how aggressive it is and what you have to do through lap traffic. Brad Keselowski kept catching James Davidson, makes it 3 right wide with the 8 car on the bottom. Then he just says, oh, that's my spot. Drives James all the way up into the 3rd lane. Kind of self-cleared him. No time to mess around.
So, Steve, you mentioned fuel window about 150 laps. That's what we're coming up to left in this race, as Chase Elliott out in front.
He's out in front, clear track ahead until the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Now, I'm going to say, as these tires of age, Kevin Harvick's pace is kind of leveled out with the leader. Harvick is only between 5/100ths and a 10th slower than Chase. So while it's not faster, he is not losing a tremendous amount of ground. It's during lap traffic that the 4 of Kevin Harvick's car really shows its ill handling. He has a hard time passing cars where Chase is able to kind of enter high like he's going to do right here and then turn down the racetrack and get a low exit. That allows the 9 to run that lane. You see instantly how much of a gap he closes on the 4 of Harvick's drivers. I mean, there's not much Harvick can do right here. Hope for yellow, try to work lap traffic the best he can.
And
Best
see
thing you
Tim
do is
Feeder
right
with
there. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, Jeff. Tim Feeder with a veteran spotter for Kevin Harvick has told him, yes, that is the leader behind you. And I'm wondering, Jeff, boy, it just changes Kevin Harvick's race. If he does go 2 laps down, that changes the complexion completely for Kevin Harvick. So every spot he gets here, critical for Kevin Harvick. And yes, he said the car is going a little bit better direction, but everyone he can pass and put between him and Chase Elliott, and there's the caution. Kevin Harvick, though, not going to get the free pass, Rick.
Yeah, he's still a lap down. He's actually the lowest scored driver that is 1 lap down. Matt Kenseth.
Timmy Hill has a flat right rear tire. He's brought out the yellow.
So the caution has come out. It's the 10th of the day. Timmy Hill, we've been focusing a lot on Timmy Hill in that 66 because he was the one who kept falling behind, getting put a lap down, and that would put him ahead of Kevin Harvick. So Harvick wasn't in the free pass position. This time, the 42 of Matt Kenseth is going to get the free pass.
The only benefit for Harvick, if there is one, is that long run. They lapped so many cars that there are now 6 or 7 points available on his lap, so he can gain a few points if he can improve the handling.
That, and they're better cars that are 1 lap down, so they won't get lapped as easily. So Kevin Harvick's pit crew needs to step up, get him some of those spots.
The pit crew trying to make the right changes to the 4 as well to get him back in position to where he's competitive. Parker.
Guys, Kurt Busch pitting from the 5th position. They're in a must-win position here to advance to the championship 4. Said he's just driving the hell out of it. He's not sure what they change. You'll see a little adjustment there in the right rear.
Martin Truex Jr. told James Small, he said, man, I feel like I've been telling you the same thing all day long. Loose in, tight in the center, loose on exit, but that loose on exit is my biggest problem. We've made it better in the longer run, but we're still giving up too much time to the 9 at the end of the day. Dave?
Leader Chase Elliott said a little miscue on the jack there, going around to this side first. So Might be a little bit of a slow stop here for the 9 car as they'll change 4 a little tight, but he said it wasn't bad. And near the end of the run, it was all about drive off, which was good. Yes, he will give up the lead here.
Yeah, a lot of spots lost by the 9. Chase Elliott, 3 spots to be exact. Logano up front now. Actually, that could be good for Kevin Harvick. Most laps Chase Elliott has ever led in a race, but it might all be negated because they're getting a penalty. Over the wall too soon by the Jackman.
Yeah, so we're going to take another look at it. This is those corners. It's very hard for them to see. You kind of try to time it right. So look at the Jackman. He's going to leave the pit stall. You're allowed to be over 1 box before. So you look at Chase. He's not 1 box. So he tries to clear it by going back to pit wall, touching it, then running around the car. I'll be honest, I've never heard of the ability. I mean, you see the Jackman. He's a stall away. The Jackman's already in the pit box. So I've never heard that you can go back and reset it against pit wall. I mean, the penalty is the penalty. Obviously, the Jackman had a quick reaction that, well, if I go back, maybe they won't call it. He obviously knew he was early. I don't think that's an option. NASCAR will let us know, but they're calling the penalty on the 9 being too early. So, see
Steve,
right there, I couldn't see, just couldn't see.
Yep, he couldn't see, and he tried to reset it. NASCAR is looking at it. They're waiting to hear what they say. Yeah, sounds like maybe they're okay, and that's why you argue, right, Steve?
Well, so here's the thing. What we have seen in the past is if a guy stands on pit wall and say he loses his balance, Rick, and he steps off, but then he steps back on pit wall and then jumps at the appropriate time, they don't penalize that because, so this is by far more blatant. He didn't fall off, he jumped off. Right. But to his defense, he did go back and reset himself on pit wall to try to release this penalty. I would have never thought that was an option. I was a pit crew member. I would have never even thought about running back to pit wall. It would have been, oh man, I hope they didn't catch me. Would have been my thing. But if this saves the 9 a penalty, which is, we're hearing from NASCAR, it's going to save him a penalty, that is the play of the year for a pit crew member. The play of the year for that Jackman to have enough thought to say, I know I'm early. I'm going back to pit wall. Semke, that is, I'm talking MVP move. If the 9 goes on into the championship 4, that single move by the Jackman could be the difference.
100 awareness.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
100 awareness. And you could see how Alan was extremely happy with that, his understanding to go back to pit wall.
So now, as they're side by side, the green flag about to come out, the 9 is just below the cut line, 5 spots, but he's been one of the best all day long. No penalty for the 9 team. He keeps his spot.
I've raced a long time, Rick. I've never seen a Jackman reset like that. What a move.
Training and practice. That's what that is. You have to be prepared. He knew the rule, he executed.
Joey Logano out front. And what does that do for Kevin Harvick? He's above the cut line right now. As long as somebody below the cut line is not up front and leading, Kevin Harvick still has a chance to make the championship 4.
And NASCAR just wanted to clear this up and said, we know he was over too soon, but the fact that he went back before performing any service, he didn't jack the car, he went back to pit wall, kind of reset his starting position, just like someone losing their balance. They're not going to call penalty for that. That's a first. Done this a long time. That is a first.
If
Great work. Just great work. You see him over too soon. He goes, nope, I know I'm in trouble. I'm going to go back, touch pit wall, and now he knows he's going to slow the stop down. So I do think like this alone is a penalty for the 9 because it's a slow pit stop. Much better than just going to the back of the field.
The team knew the rules, Steve.
They did. It was clear, right, Jeff? It was crazy.
Yeah, the team knew the rule. He knew he had made a mistake. Alan knew it. He knew the rule. That was just preparation. Great job by Hendrick Motorsports having their guys ready, having them prepared.
Now he's lost that time on pit road. He's got him in 4th place here. He's got to work his way back up by these guys to get back into the lead of this race. And Truex also has fallen back into 6th position. That's a lot of track position this late in this race to be given up in a must-win situation.
Well, look at the points. Look at the change, the playoffs. Without the 9-car winning, or without the 19-car winning, look what happens. This puts Kevin Harvick back in 5 points to the good.
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, these guys got a long way to go, 140 laps or so. Don't know if you really drive the car to its fullest right now. You might want to be ready for another possible long run, so save a little bit of rear tire on corner exit, not giving the throttle everything you can give it. So it might pay off on the long run, but Truex falling to 6th. He's kind of losing a little bit of touch with the guys in front of him. The 9-car going around the 1 of Kurt Busch for 3rd.
Well, as he gains a point, Kevin Harvick, if you look at the points on the left, currently 6 points above because all those cars are 1 lap down. He's still a lap down, but he's racing the 43. Bubba Wallace in front of him for the free pass. So the battle for the win on the left, and you have on the right, the Ford trying to get back on the lead lap. His teammates beat and bang.
Yeah, we saw Ryan Blaney there in the 12 get into the side of the 22 of Logano. That's for the lead.
Wow, he's in the back of him right now in turn 1 and 2. They go down the back straightaway. That's pretty aggressive for teammates.
Well, Joey Logano's in he's in. He won, so he's in. We know that Blaney is out of the playoffs, so neither one really have much to lose, but a lot to gain by winning this race.
Yeah, clock. The grandfather clock, one of the most coveted trophies on the series. You can only get it here.
And Blaney hungry, trying to get by that 22 of Logano. Logano trying to hold him off.
How about that? Showed him the outside, then cut back underneath him. Now he's going to try to outbreak him into 1.
So this won't affect Kevin Harvick either. If Ryan Blaney's up front, at least it's not someone that's in the playoffs below the cut line. So now that Blaney's still there, it's not going to change the points for Kevin Harvick.
Blaney's got some great pace on this car. Been in the top 5 all day long, and now he's got the lead. He's going to drive away from this 22, I believe. Chase Elliott's trying to drive up to the back bumper of Joe Logano.
Chase Elliott, his center of the corner speed is so fast. Right along with him. Watch right. Look at that. Look at that center of the corner. How he gains on Joey Logano.
Brad Keselowski's got around Kurt Busch for 4th. Now Kurt's under pressure from Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 car.
Chase Elliott knows he has an extremely fast race car. He's got to be smart here. Long way to go. 1 lap at a time.
And with 130 to go, Jeff, I believe everyone that pitted can make it on fuel. So I'm not sure we're going to see that long of a green flag run. It would be the longest of the day, but it's possible.
The track's changing a lot too. Lights have come on. It's getting dark. Track's cooling down.
That fight still for the transfer spot, or at least the free pass spot. Harvick needs to get by Bubba Wallace. A little rough back here.
That's the battle of Martinsville. Every corner, somebody's hitting somebody.
And that's a risk for Harvick to take that chance with the tires on his car. Get another flat. He's back to pit road. He's back to 2 laps down.
Yeah, it's important for Kevin to be, obviously he needs to get the first car 1 lap down, but at the same time, he can't panic, right? Still, we've seen Martinsville, how crazy it gets in the last 50 laps. Anything can happen.
Still up front, Ryan Blaney. Logano holding on to 2nd. Chase Elliott is 3rd. Brad Keselowski running 4th. Kurt Busch is 5th.
Kurt's going to lose that spot to the 19 car here off turn 2.
Martin takes it away from him.
Truex just not showing the speed that he's had all night long. Now that he's lost a little track position. Parker
And guys, Kurt Busch falling back a little bit here. He was a little worried about the left front there when Brad Keselowski went by. They touched a little bit. He was worried about the damage. The team gave him the A-OK. And right now you can just tell Kurt sort of manhandling that car, putting on his back, trying to hold track position right now, Marty.
Parker, Martin Truex Jr. did get around Kurt Busch, and man, it just takes Truex a little bit to get going, and then the middle part of the run, that's where they're the strongest, but then at the end of the run, that's where they give up with all this time, and they have fallen a second and a half behind Chase Elliott. That's all the time that Truex gave up. They commented earlier, hey, I feel like heads up, Truex said, we're as good as the 9. But when we're going through traffic, the 9 just gets through so much cleaner. And check that out, Rick. The battle continues for the free pass. Harvick got around Bubba Wallace, but Bubba fighting back.
Yeah, the 43 went way up the racetrack, missed turns 1 and 2. That opened the door for Kevin Harvick to get past him. Now he's trying to hang on to that spot.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace was on the inside of the 47 of Stenhouse and lost the back of his car, got up the track into the door of the 47 car. Harvick squeezed by those guys, beating and banging. That was a hard shot that the 43 had with the 47. Watch this. Boom.
Yeah,
bam, bam.
Bubba just drove way down into the corner. Coming through.
Good thing Stenhouse was there. He spun out.
Harvick needs a caution now to get back on the lead lap. A caution has to come out for him to get the free pass.
Chase Elliott running third, lost some time on pit road with a slow pit stop, but it could have been much, much worse. It could have been a penalty. The Jackman over too soon, goes back, understands the rule perfectly, resets, then leaves pit wall. A slow pit stop, 4 spots. That's a whole lot better than the entire field.
It's a cut race from Martinsville. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC, the Xfinity 500. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. As we look down, the lights have come on here at Martinsville, closing in on the final 100 laps, 112, now 111 to go out front. It's Ryan Blaney, not a fluke. Ryan Blaney was second here in June. He runs well at this racetrack. He's out front. Joey Logano running second. Chase Elliott, who's had the best car here today, 192 laps led in the 3rd position. Keselowski is 4th. Martin Truex Jr. in 5th. Dave.
And Brad Keselowski in that blue and white 2 car. He wants to join the Penske party at the front of the field here, but at the moment he's 19 points above the cut line. Remember, things could change. So one of the things that Jeremy Bullins, his crew chief, told me earlier today, yes, he saves the race cars here. That's why he's good. But the other thing is he understands the way this track changes as the temperature changes, the swings that it takes. And remember, a crew chief's adjusting on the race car is only as good as the information he gets from the driver. He said Brad's very good at it. And guys, it's dropped since the sun went behind the grandstands. Another 10 degrees down here. We're adding layers of clothes, and crew chiefs are adjusting to it.
A reminder, if somebody that's below the cut line coming in right now goes up and leads this race, that changes everything for Kevin Harvick. So the 9, the 88, the 19, or the 1, if they can get up there, if they can lead the race right now. Chase Elliott running in the 3rd position. The 19 is 5th. Kurt Busch is running 6th. Alex Bowman in 7th.
Great battle right here. Brad Keselowski just tries to find a way around this 9 car. Chase Elliott. Chase runs tidy and checks him up in the middle of 1 and 2. Down here in 3 and 4, Brad to the inside, Chase wide to be able to turn and get a good drive off. Motor down the straightaway and keep that spot. Brad just cannot put the power down, spins over your tires.
I just feel like these Penske cars, though, as the sun is going down, Penske cars have gotten better. Chase will not be able to block this. Going to have to use that outside lane to try to make it work again. Brad using a little more racetrack that time. That's going to help him on his corner exit. The first time he went through there, he put his left sides on the curb. Now he's running up the racetrack a little bit. That helps his exit.
Yeah, both cars are able to make the diamond maneuver and run straight off the corner when that inside car uses up a lot more racetrack. Drifts up in the middle of the corner like that right there.
So impressed with that outside lane, though. That outside lane is pretty good right now.
Yeah, it is. Track's not taking a ton of rubber, so it's relatively green and keeping a lot of grip.
It's confusing when you're on the bottom like that. You think, man, I got the spot. I should be able to easily pass this guy, but
if you're on the bottom, though, you're still turning the steering wheel on corner exit. You can't get in the gas when you're turning the steering wheel to finish the corner.
Yeah, this outside lane did this a little bit in the spring race as well. See, Brad keeps getting higher and higher.
and if you get that fender ahead or that few inches ahead, you take more. You go further up the track in the next corner, because you know if you get into the inside of the 9 car and you're kind of back on his left rear corner, it's likely going to spin you out. We got a car slow to top the racetrack here.
Yeah, this is what Kevin Harvick is hoping he stops. He is the first car lap down. He can't get going. I think they're going to have to throw the caution right here. He is going so slow.
Completely lost power.
Yep, he's lost power.
So he's not going to be able to make it back to pit road, and the caution will come out. And Kevin Harvick is in the free pass position. He can get back on the lead lap.
And with a much better race car. That last run right there is the first time we've seen the 4 passing cars being aggressive, driving up through the field. So not only is he back on the lead lap, but I think has a car with 100 laps to go that can still get more points.
So James Davison, 34-year-old from Australia, brings out the caution here at Martinsville.
Wonder what he thinks about racing at Martinsville. It's so much fun. The guys come over and try something like this. This is such a unique experience. Oh, he's got some power now. Seems to have been able to switch it up, reboot the system.
This caution right here. Kevin Harvick has been trying for 200 laps to get his lap back.
Hey, the lucky dog? I think so. Yeah, 10-4.
I think he's actually got it in gear and just turning the motor over in gear and it's lugging the car down the straightaway. 53 at Davidson.
It won't last long, do it?
Yeah, he's going to use the starter to get it there. Marty.
Well, you guys think there would have been a big celebration. Kevin Harvick finally getting back on the lead lap. You heard the entirety of the celebration. That was it. Championship team, they're focused immediately. Hey, what do we need to do to make the car better? Harvick said, hey, it's finally come to life. Just need it to turn a little bit more, but by far, that's the best we've been all day. Now Harvick back on the lead lap, back in the game.
So basically, Rick, the way I look at it is without a new winner, the 4 It's kind of a points battle for the 4 between him and the 11 and other guys with a new winner. If the 9 can get up there or the 19 can get up there, then it really gets tight between the 4 and the 11. And Denny Hamlin, I know he had to go to the back at one point and drove up, but that whole run right there was just mediocre for the 11 car. He did not have the speed he had earlier. You've heard the comments from Dave about cooling, the lights coming on, the track changing, the Penske car is coming to life. Whatever the track is doing has helped the 4, helped the Penske cars. The 4, or the 11 of Denny Hamlin's car does not like the track changes.
All right, crew chief, 99 to go. You got a couple sets of tires still on pit road, so you're going to come down and get some new tires, but your crew, they've got to be good. They've got to be on point right now. Marty.
Real quick before pit road opens, yes, Steve, you are correct. Hamlin went nowhere on that run. He was not happy with Eric Jones, his teammate, and not happy with the handling of the car. Listen.
I'm loose in, I'm tight as in the center. At 4, track far up half rounds, all we did. Yeah, I know. Just get him back under you here. Long run, it'll be good, 22.
And Chris Gabehart said something interesting, Steve. He said we had to switch date codes on the right side tires. We didn't have a choice. We'll do that for the rest of the race. He said, I think that's the biggest thing that you were struggling with. Maybe you can explain that.
Well, so basically Goodyear puts a lot of information on the tires. They're all the same tire, but date is basically, hey, was it made in March? Was it made in April? Was it made in June? All these different things that the teams measure and record. And not that they're good or bad, but if you do go from, say, something that was made in a different month, it may have just a little different grip characteristic, could change your balance. You got to remember, these guys are working in such small windows. It doesn't take very much difference in grip from front to back to change the balance of the race car.
So again, the reason the caution has come out, James Davison in the 53 slowed on the racetrack, didn't get up into the wall, but he just lost power, so was not able to continue on. Had to have one of the tow trucks here get him back to pit road. That is why the caution is out, and here come the teams to pit road. Parker.
Kurt Busch pins out the 6th position. The team asked him to move a foot to the right in the box so that they don't have to double pump on the left. They're going to tighten up that one car as I believe the track is loosening up as we go to the nighttime here at cooler temperatures, Marty.
Boy, the pressure on the crews, 97 to go. Martin Truex Jr. said, man, the car just never turned that run. I don't know what happened. Clearly, it's getting much different out here. And then he said towards the end of the run, got way too free for the 19, Dave.
Time for the 12 team to shine for their driver. Can they get Ryan Blaney off of pit road first? The 9 team's crew already has shown. Tyler Simke, the Jackman, cleanly off the wall that time, down to the right side. He'll get to the left side as well. 4 tires going on the 9 car and filling it with Sunoco fuel as well. Here's the race off.
Logano's going to win it. Logano won the race off. Blaney goes second, and all the way down, 4 spots down. Chase Elliott struggling to get off pit road. I had mentioned the crews can't make a mistake. It's too important, this track position. Well, the driver can't make a mistake either, and the 2 of Brad Keselowski speeding on pit road. Listen into the radio.
under my lights the entire run. Didn't even take a chance.
That's the box leaving here.
So the box leaving. So the crew chief says it's after our pit stall. Leaving pit road is where the penalty was. So a huge penalty for the 2. And so here is the 2 right here in his pit box. And watch him accelerate leaving right here. You know, in Martinsville, you have so much grip and so much gear that I didn't think you could speed in that section, but clearly you can. And this right here, another slow stop for Chase Elliott. Look at the left rear. A lot of struggle trying to get the lug nuts off. The left front's already been changed. The left rear just now coming off. You mentioned it going away to brake, how he had a bit of an issue on pit road. That issue will get Chase Elliott almost out of the top 10. I think he's going to restart like in the 9th position with the penalty on Brad Keselowski. So just a lot of mistakes. We talked about it. No mistakes. We've seen mistakes out of a lot of the playoff cars here down the stretch.
You have an opportunity at the front of the pack. Martin Truex Jr. needing to win this race. Starting on the outside. Good launch by Martin.
Wow, he's going to take it down into turn 1, almost clearing the 22 car Logano.
He's going to get it. Great job by Martin Truex Jr.
What a restart.
That was impressive.
Remember, it was this racetrack where it was the 22 and the 19 getting together. And Logano ended up winning the race. Martin Truex Jr. said he may have won the battle. He's not going to win the war. Well, right now, he's winning the battle. Martin Truex Jr. out front. Logano running second.
With that penalty of Keselowski, look on the left side of your screen. Now Harvick's in, and Keselowski is 6 points out.
Kevin Harvick restarted in the 21st position. Keselowski is behind him.
Blaney back into 3rd position as he goes by the 18 car Kyle Busch. Kyle fighting on the outside is going to maintain his position in front of Alex Bowman in the 88 down into turn 3.
Still these Penske cars, we talked about it. Lights have come on, track's gotten cooler. It seems like they've gotten much better. Martin Truex Jr. with this lead still has a ton of work to do with those fast cars behind him.
2 Penske cars lined up in Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. And then it's Kyle Busch in that 18. Running back in the 4th spot, Alex Bowman also in a must-win situation is 5th.
So the 4 car of Harvick is in the points. And the 2 is out, and they are together on the racetrack now trying to battle through traffic.
They're coming through traffic like a cannonball back here.
Read the video board. We're 6 points behind Harvick, with Truex leading the race right now.
All right, so 6 points, 6 positions. You got to get in front of Harvick. You got to find 6 more positions.
And you got 87 laps to do it in. Speeding on pit road could determine if Brad Keselowski makes it in the championship 4 or not.
We talk about this choose rule and how it's changed racing. Martin Truex Jr. had the opportunity to pick the outside because Blaney chose the inside. Went to the outside. Great launch on this restart. Watch him go right here. Pulls actually in front of the 22. Now he's got great forward momentum. Clears Joey Logano. Now he has the lead. That's everything he needed. Pit crew did a nice job. Got in that spot. He took the gamble, took the outside. And then Marty, he made it work.
And Jeff, you know what's funny is right before that choose cone, Martin Truex Jr. told his spotter Clayton Hughes, I don't want to take the outside if I don't have to. And Hughes said, you know what? Only if you can go to the front row, go to the outside. And you know what? It worked out. He wound up getting the lead from the lane he didn't want to be in. Top of your screen, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski battling it out further back in the field, 18th and 19th. Rodney Childers told Harvick, right now, we are in. At that moment, it was +6 above Brad Keselowski. Now it's +4. Keselowski has gotten around Harvick and is driving away from Harvick. So that's going to be something we're going to have to watch, because if Keselowski continues to gain spots, he'll continue to close that gap on Harvick.
Yeah, Keselowski's going around cars left and right. He's on the inside of the 42 right now. Here's the battle for second place. The 12th car to 22. Ryan Blaney continuing to make up ground after losing some spots on pit road. Came in as the leader of the race. Now can he run down Truex?
It's the best thing he could do for his teammate, right? If he could take Truex out of the lead, that's the best thing he could do for Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, that will reset as far as a driver that's not below the cut line up front would reset those points. And that would put Keselowski back up into the championship 4, as well as Harvick. Here's Clint Boyer trying to make the pass on that 18.
There's the 9. We mentioned how far back he restarted. Man, he is working the traffic, doing a nice job trying to enter the top 5. He says, man, 80 to go. I'm not out of this thing yet. Let me up here.
Right now below the cut line, Chase Elliott 12 points back. Only 2 points separating now Harvick and Keselowski as they run on the track.
Yeah, Keselowski's car just has proven that it's good. I know he went to the back, but he's moving up. The 4 isn't awful. It's kind of staying with him.
Paint scheme on that 14 of Clint Boyer. Thank you, fans. He has all his sponsors that he's had really throughout his racing career on that paint scheme. For Clint Boyer, this is second to last race in the Cup Series as he will move on to the Fox broadcast booth for 2021.
He's got a very fast Chase Elliott and a very hungry Chase Elliott behind him.
Not any longer. He's beside him. Here comes Chase Elliott trying to take that 4th position away.
I think it's best that he let him go. Chase has too much to gain, does not have enough time to mess around for long.
Truex just a little bit quicker right now on the lap tracker. We have Ryan Blaney in second place. Truex starting to go through some traffic. I think that is the best thing that can happen for a guy like Chase Elliott, is to see our leader have some problems getting through this traffic. Close that gap up a little bit.
I think Chase Elliott's got the fastest car on the racetrack, but he's just got such ground to gain.
Right now, Kevin Harvick running in the 18th spot. Listen to his radio.
We just got to keep up with the 2 best we can. 2 points to the good.
So Harvick, his goal now is to stay in sight of the 2. Martin Truex Jr., he's got to win. He's up front here at Martinsville as we go NASCAR nonstop. Martin Truex Jr. has a 1.4-second lead over Ryan Blaney. Martin Truex Jr. needs to win if he wants to be a part of the championship 4. Points, though, right now, if you look at Denny Hamlin, he's plus 13. Kevin Harvick, right even now with Brad Keselowski as they run on the racetrack, and Chase Elliott is 10 points back, currently in 6th in the point standings. Dave?
So let's talk about Chase Elliott. 2 bad pit stops in a row for different reasons. One was corrected, one was not, and it has hurt this 9 car. So the question remains, do you want another pit stop? 1 fresh set of Goodyear tires remaining. They may have to come down to use them, or they may go green to the end, Marty.
Denny Hamlin happier with the car, sitting in 8th, and right now plus 13. Chris Gabehart's told him several times the entire picture. Right now, Hamlin is good on points. That's all he needs to know. Right where we're at, we're good, Dave.
Brad knows what he has to do. Brad Keselowski in that 2 car restarted 22nd all the way up to 13. This week, he tweeted about loving the grind. He has loved this racing grind, and now he's got to grind it out to the end here, Marty.
Top right of your screen, Kevin Harvick needs 1 point. And guess who he has to pass? Ryan Newman. Here's what he thinks about that.
Keep the power down to finish the pass. I know.
Harvick says, I can't get the power down to finish the pass, but this has been going on for 15 laps. He's been beside Newman, almost in front of Newman, and he cannot get around the 6. And right now, he is 1 point below the cut line, as you see, as Brad Keselowski just passed for 12.
I think one of the issues for Kevin Harvick also is his car just isn't as good as it needs to be, and he's having to push his car harder than he wants to. If we get a long run, he is killing these tires. That could really hurt him. He needs a caution here relatively quickly. I think he's going to just pay the price big time later in the run.
Here's a 2 car trying to get around the 21. Dive down into turn 3. I think that the 21 let him have that one, and that was the difference right now. But I think he continues to drive through the pack. This is a big problem for Harvick.
Big wreck in the middle of 3 and 4. The 24 of William Byron has made huge contact. The back of his car shortened up dramatically.
So the caution has come out. 12th caution
left rear
of the night.
That's
William
about
Byron,
as hard as you hit at Martinsville.
Yeah, William Byron was running in the 14th spot when he backed it into the wall.
Some fluid running out. I don't know if that's fuel or oil.
This pace that it's running, I believe that's oil.
You see on the left-hand side, 1 set remaining for everybody except for Newman, Ty Dillon. They have no new tires, maybe some used scuffs as we see William Byron climbing out. Almirola, though, has 2 sets with 59 to go. Could be an advantage if we run, like, say, 20 laps and get a yellow with still enough laps to use those new tires. But see William Byron out, surveying the damage.
What a season it's been for that young man. William Byron will have a new crew chief in 2021. Rudy Fugel will come over. Actually, they will be reunited after a truck series. We see guys on pit road. Parker.
There was a bit of debate whether to come to pit road or not and use this set of tires from the 22. Julie got on the top of your screen there. They decided to come down and get the 4 tires just a little too tight, Marty.
Since Mike Hicks moved to the rear of the 19, they have been the best on pit road in the playoffs, and he needs them more now than ever. They gained him 1 spot on pit road last time. Truex said the car is better. Can the crew deliver, Dave?
Chase Elliott from 10th to 3rd on that run. Now it is up to the crew here as well. Let's see if they can get the left side tires off cleanly this time. A little slow on the left front there. Will Chase gain? Doesn't look like it.
Chase able to come out pit road just in front of Ryan Blaney, but behind the 19 and 22. Logano gaining 2 spots on pit road. clean pit road for everyone that came down as we are winding down the laps. 56 to go here from Martinsville. The reason for the caution was the 24 of William Byron. Take a look at this.
He's going to enter your screen right here, turn down in the corner. You're going to see him lose control of the back of the car.
Yeah, he's either lost the left rear tire, right rear tire, flat tire, or a brake issue. Typically is what we're seeing down here in turn 3 with a contact like that. Shortens up the back end of that car. And hey, they had some speedy dry left over. I thought they might have used it all up.
They're reusing that. And I had mentioned earlier Rudy Fugle will be on top of the pit box for the 24 of William Byron. I guess one of the other big stories is that his over-the-wall crew had COVID-19. So they were not a part of the race on Wednesday at Texas, and once again not here tonight as far as the normal crew, over-the-wall crew, not able to be here for that team tonight. And obviously a short ending there for William Byron after this incident. So now Martin Truex Jr. Is up front. Corey LaJoie actually stayed out.
Yeah, we showed the tire sets remaining. Corey LaJoie had no new tires, so I believe that's the reason he stayed on the racetrack. No new tires to put on. I thought he might have a set of scuffs, but apparently not.
Steve, if he stays on the racetrack as the leader, that's going to really mix up this lineup. Wherever he goes, I think most drivers will go the opposite lane, Parker.
Hey guys, for Kurt Busch, who's all the way back in 13th now after that set of stops, his crew chief, Matt McCall, came on the radio just as they were about to pit and said, do the opposite of everyone else. Well, they didn't. They came down and took that last set of tires. And I have to think in the position they were, which was around 10th place, why not do the opposite and take a little risk and save that set of tires for maybe later in the race in the must-win position?
Yeah, I like the idea.
Now, Park.
Sorry,
hey, guys, fourth spot right now for the 9 of Chase Elliott. He got that last set of tires as well, and his crew gave him a clean stop on and off of pit road, and Chase has driven to the front a couple of different times today. The 9 car has been very good. Chase has been very on behind the wheel. Now he's got a few laps left in this race to see if he can make it happen, Marty.
Dave, 54 laps to go, and James Small right behind me put it very simply to Martin Truex Jr. He said, this is it. This is our season. This is your shot to make it to the championship 4. They actually were not happy that Corey LaJoie, the 32, stayed out because they feel obviously it takes away their choice of what lane they could pick. So now they're just going to go the opposite of whatever Corey LaJoie picks here, and that's where Truex will start. But Truex clearly has had a terrific car here this afternoon. He's led 121 laps. His only path to Phoenix for a championship 4 is win. But they also know Chase Elliott right behind him. That's his only path as well. This is going to be a dogfight.
Martin Truex Jr. is also trying to make a little bit of history for himself, at least. 3 consecutive wins at this racetrack. He won the last 2 Martinsville races.
And showed up with another great car tonight. And I can see the frustration with the 32 staying out. But Jeff, I don't know. I almost look at it as an advantage. I would assume the 19 should be able to accelerate better than the used tires next to him. It should almost guarantee him being the leader into turn 1, or am I looking at that wrong?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think it's the best case scenario because there's really no way that anybody should enter side by side with Martin Truex Jr. I mean, the leader has got to start. The rule is the leader of the race has got to restart the race. But the tires on the 19 car are so much better. He's going to out-accelerate Corey LaJoie. He should beat him into turn 1.
Yeah, I think that's a concern for the 32 is just spinning the tires when they initially go to the gas. And Truex should be able to take advantage of him. And also entering the corner. We saw Truex beat the 22 down into turn 1 on the restart before this. I feel pretty good about Martin's shot of being the leader clear off of turn 2.
Now, Chase Elliott is going to restart behind Corey LaJoie. Chase Elliott's mindset right now is 3 wide into turn 1. Get a great launch and put them 3 wide into turn 1. That's Chase Elliott's shot.
Yeah.
Because if he does it and he's slow all the way through 1 and 2, that outside lane is going to just roll by them.
Yeah, Chase has to get around the 32 some way, somehow in this first corner or down the back straightaway, even if he has to get physical with this 32 car LaJoie.
See what he's doing? He's laying back a little bit to time it, to get that forward momentum.
Oh. 51 laps to go.
LaJoie with a big launch. He's going to beat Truex down into turn 1. Truex, though, fighting back on the outside of this 32. Down the back straightaway, Truex going to pull Corey LaJoie into turn 3. LaJoie up the racetrack a little bit. This is
no contact yet.
Here's
so
Elliott's shot.
Blaine clears him.
3 wide down the front straightaway. Chase Elliott on the inside. Corey backs out.
And now the 9 up to second. Joey Logano is third.
And now Corey's in the outside lane, so he's on older tires, so that's going to hold that outside lane up.
Absolutely. Oh, they're just going to send him up the racetrack. Blaney had to do it.
Here comes,
skipped him out of the way.
Alex Bowman also in the 88. Look who's up front. Guys who have to win. Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, all in the top 4.
And the points battle between Harvick and Keselowski is the cut line. If one of those drivers do win, down to 4 points.
See this battle back here. There's the 32 car. Harvick's got to get to the bottom right here. Brad's gotten by him. Harvick's going to try to make it 3 wide.
Corey LaJoie is going to get black flag here. He left too soon. So he did not start in the restart zone. He went just before it. So NASCAR has posted the 32.
And battle for the lead. Cannot blame LaJoie for trying to make something happen right there on old tires. What the heck? Try something. See if it catch me.
Yeah. 9 car Chase Elliott's closing in on the back bumper of the leader. Oh, he turns. Comes off real low. Great run down this front straightaway. He's going to have an opportunity to look inside.
So Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott.
Chase is there. Gives him a little tap.
They're fighting for the lead. Whichever one is not up front, they will be below the cut line.
Chase high again in the corner, cuts again. Down low, gets a straight run off. Has the momentum. Another opportunity to look to the inside of the 19.
You can hear him in the rev limiter right there. Getting such good rear grip.
Chase is there. Truex trying to pinch him off, keep him low.
Hey, remember Darlington? They battled late in that race. Contact.
Truex up the racetrack a little bit here.
Championship on the line this time.
Chase putting the pressure on Truex. Little contact on the back bumper. Slides him up the racetrack. 9 car right on the quarter panel here down into turn 3.
Hungry.
Oh, man, the 9 car drives it deep into turn 3. Power move.
To the inside. Now Chase Elliott leading at Martinsville. Watch what happens to the 19. He'll drop below the cut line. Now Chase Elliott. He's up front.
He has that short run speed. He's showing it again today on this run. Truex just doesn't have that speed to fire off like he wants to. He's talked about it.
Listen, Alex Bowman says, I haven't been up there yet today, but I want to join the fun. He's racing Joey Logano for the 3rd position. We can see more yellows, see more restarts. The 88 driving in deep. You see the front rotors glowing. And as all of these leaders battle, look at Keselowski and Harvick. 1 point apart, and they're leapfrogging through traffic. Currently, Keselowski's in front of Harvick by 3 spots on the racetrack.
If they end up with the same amount of points, the nod would go to Kevin Harvick because he has a better finish in this round of 2nd at Kansas. Marty.
Martin Truex Jr., we talked about how important these pit crews are. He said to have a vibration like the right front is loose. Going to ride it out as much as you can. 41 to go. James Small saying right now, just keep us posted as you bet. And Truex saying right now it's getting worse. There you go, roll turn. Feels like the right front is loose on the 19. Battling for a win and a shot to make the championship 4. And the pit crew may have left the right front loose on that stop.
Talked about that battle back in the field with Keselowski and Harvick. Every position matters. High point battle. Watch Brad Keselowski. He just ships the 20 of Eric Jones getting into turn 3. This flat moves him out of the way for that spot.
What would you do for a championship? We're seeing it right now out of these drivers. Listen in to Alex Bowman's radio.
Okay, well, here's just a reminder, this guy's locked in. Take Kiki's advice. If it's there, take it. We're done playing nice.
There you have it. We're done playing nice. Now with 38 laps to go, 37 laps to go, everyone's done playing nice.
The 88's been on the back bumper here. You see it. Those kind of shots right there aren't going to move him. You're going to want to get a guy off the racetrack. You're going to have to really commit. I just don't know if that's Alex's style.
Ryan Blaney's on his back bumper, Dave.
And when I talked to Greg Ives, Alex Bowman's crew chief this morning, He said one of the things we have going for us today is we don't have a lot of enemies out there. To your point, Junior, he doesn't rough up a lot of other drivers. Well, now's the time. Now's the time maybe to be evil, Alex, on this Halloween weekend and take something away.
The 2, Brad Keselowski sees 2 points in front of him. He's 1 point below. He has to keep going because the 4 of Harvick is working on the 20 of Jones, a few spots behind him. So here comes the 2. He's inside the quarter panel of the 11, 2 wide in front of him. How aggressive will he be? We already saw the contact with the 20.
Harvick cleared Eric Jones behind him.
And so as the 2 clears the 11, they're going to stay at 1 point.
So if you look in front of the 4, 15 car lengths to the next spot in the 21. The 21's going to want to outrun the 4 to help his, corporate teammate, Brad Keselowski. Now Brad is behind who else but Harvick's teammate, the 14 of Clint Boyer. So now it's teammates versus teammates to try to find these points.
Yeah, Clint's not going to be able to hold off this 2 car, Brad, to the inside. He's going to go around Clint Boyer down the back straightaway and pick up another spot. Then he's got about 10, 15 car lengths to the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Right there, the points are even. Harvick and Keselowski. Again, the tiebreaker goes to Harvick right now. Has a better finish in this round.
Martin Truex Jr. talking about that loose tire. Let's see what he had to say.
Careful, you make the call. I'm just hanging out with yellow, but I don't think we're going to get it.
Oh, you gotta feel for a guy right there. You got a loose wheel. It's going to come off the car, and it's going to be bad. He's going to try to stay on the track. Oh, goodness.
It's got to be horrible for him to pit in this situation.
You see it wobbling. My goodness.
You heard him say, "I'm sorry." There's nothing he can do about it, but as a driver, you wish it was, and you're terrified that you're going to come in there, they're going to say nothing was wrong.
Martin Truex Jr., who's running second right now in this race, potentially a loose wheel on the right front. Logano and the 12 of Ryan Blaney all over his back bumper now.
And he's going to stay on the racetrack, take another lap. Huge risks. He's putting himself in real danger as a driver, and that's the guilt that he feels.
On the bottom. Sorry, I was going to say at the bottom of the screen, Dale, you got the 2 car looking for that point to break the tie.
But Kevin Harvick, he's got the second fastest car on the racetrack. The last 3 laps, he's been the second fastest, so he can catch those guys in front of him.
He's got the 11 and the 21 in front of him. Right now, Brad Keselowski trying to get by the 18. These 2 don't get along off the track. But it looks as though Keselowski will make a gentlemanly pass on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Kyle right back after him.
And there's that 1 point, and the next guy in front of him is Truex, and Truex is struggling. Very slow.
Harvick is caught up to the 11.
Another car that's struggling is Denny Hamlin. Only 4 points to the good right now.
If I'm Denny Hamlin, I fight Kevin Harvick very hard. I do not want to fight him in Phoenix for a champion.
And the 19's on pit road, guys.
So that's not going to affect the points because both the 2 and the 4 will be able to get by him.
That pretty much affects his chance to go to the final 4, the final round of the playoffs, and win a championship.
It's heartbreaking for that team.
Here, this is an interesting battle because Denny seems to be struggling with his car at a very bad point in the race with 25 laps to go. He's given up a few positions. Harvick trying to get by.
Yeah, this one only look where Denny is. He's only 4 points to the good right now, and he is struggling.
Could Denny Hamlin get eliminated from the championship 4? Marty.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin could be in danger here as well. There was an interesting conversation on Channel 2 that Kevin Harvick does not hear between veteran spotter Tim Fedewa and Rodney Childers. He said, "We're 1 out. Do you want to tell him?" And Rodney said, "No, let him race right now." So they're going to let Kevin Harvick race. I'm sure Harvick knows the situation. He knows every pass is critical, and he might know that this one will put him back in a tie with Keselowski and back in the championship 4.
What do you think about that? I think Kevin Harvick, the driver he is, I'd give you all that information. I don't know how you don't tell him something so critical, but
Yeah, I'm with you, Dale. I mean, obviously Rodney and Kevin have a great relationship and they have success, so we have to trust what Rodney's doing. But I know if it was you and I would tell you, I would want you to know. I know you're doing all you can, but give you every bit of information I have.
Yeah, I'd want to know. I'd want to know what my situation is.
So Keselowski still one up on Harvick. Harvick was able to get by the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
So now Hamlin's +2. Brad's closing in on the back of the 88 car of Alex Bowman for another position. Harvick, he has about 8 car lengths to the 21 car. It's been about the same for them two over the last several circuits.
Who has a better car on the long run? They both have opportunities in front of them to pass more cars. I just don't know that Kevin's going to be able to pull this off.
Right in front of the 21 is 2 teammates for Harvick, the 14 and the 10. 2 more positions for Harvick if he can catch them.
And Chase Elliott, by the way, with a 4.5-second lead.
Yeah, that can't be lost on what's happening here. He's led 217 laps. He's been dominant today. Chase Elliott came into this race, a must-win situation. He's gone out. He's done exactly what he's had to do, even after his pit crew had some issues.
Yeah, I go back to that pit crew, that jack man. They went back and touched pit wall. That is still, that move has given the 9 this opportunity.
We're also looking forward to all the post-race action on NBCSN, the NASCAR America post-race show. There'll be driver interviews there. And obviously you'll have disappointment after what's happening today, but elation if the 9 can stay out in front.
Tell you what, I have some concern for Denny Hamlin. The 20 has got to the rear bumper of the 11 car. I believe he's going to go by, and I think the 2 car has enough speed to get by the 88. That's going to move the 2 in front of the 11 in points if it can happen. You see the battle right here between teammates, and Jones is doing anything but racing him easy. He is trying to take this position, Marty.
I'll be shocked, Marty, if the 20 goes around the 11.
Well, and remember, Eric Jones is not invited back to Joe Gibbs Racing for 2021. He was told to move elsewhere. He'll move on to Richard Petty Motorsports and be in the 34 car. And Denny Hamlin is not happy with the way Eric Jones is racing him. He's saying, come on, cut me a break. Hamlin knows right now he's just +2 above the cut line, and he's been told, do not let the 4 out of your sight. So Hamlin wants his current teammate to cut him a little slack and help him make the championship 4.
So, Steve, you said last week you weren't a nice guy. Well, I'm going to say I'm not going to be a nice guy this week, because if they fired me, why do I care? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're out here for the best position you can get.
Eric's had a few opportunities and good runs on the corner exit to go to the inside of Denny and just hasn't chosen to do that. So I think he understands the situation Denny's in. Harvick is closed in on the back bumper of the 21 car for another position. Keselowski, there you see it at the bottom of the screen, has not been able to pass Alex. Keselowski's used that car up, as we know, coming through the field. Does he have enough tires left?
The thing that Hamlin has an advantage of, though, there's really nobody behind him. Even if Eric Jones gets by him, there's no pressure from behind right now. Nobody's coming.
That's true, but can these other guys continue to advance?
There you go.
What about Stewart? Yeah, the Stewart-Haas racing drivers. What if Kevin Harvick's able to get by them?
We don't show the leader of Chase Elliott because he's driven out to almost a 6-second lead. 5.5 comes in here in a must-win and has, at this point, with 11 to go, laid the gauntlet down. Said, here I go. And what an impressive drive by the 9. We don't show it because he has a huge lead. It comes down to this points battle as long as something crazy doesn't happen to the 9.
Brad Keselowski again into the back bumper of the 88. Alex Bowman just can't get there.
He's going to make a shot right here, though, guys. Drives inside the 88. I think the 88 knows the desperation for the 2. He doesn't try to block.
Harvick 2 points down. 2 positions down now below the cut line.
That's a position for Brad. Then there's a long way, probably about 15 car lengths, 20 car lengths to the 22 Logano for Brad.
There's Kevin Harvick working hard, trying to get by that 21 car, Matt DiBenedetto.
Chase Elliott, what a run. He's out front. 228 laps led, 8 to go here. A huge lead. Comes into this race. Must-win situation. He's doing everything he has to do to advance to the championship 4. And one of the strongest competitors all year may be eliminated. Kevin Harvick right now on the outside looking in.
7 laps to go. My gosh. It's got to be heartbreaking for this team to be in this position.
Marty.
They've told Kevin Harvick he is 2 out as he tries to go around Matt DiBenedetto. The problem is that Clint Boyer, his teammate, and now Kyle Busch, actually, who got passed by Boyer, is a little further up the racetrack. He's going to have to hustle if he's going to catch Kyle Busch to pass him for the next spot. But Kevin Harvick knows now he's 1 point out of the playoff.
Look at this right here. 1 point between them. If Harvick finds a position, we'll have a 3-way tie for the cut line. I'm going to let you do the math on that one, Rick, when it comes to the tiebreaker.
Well, right now he's got the advantage over Brad Keselowski. Denny Hamlin also, so it would go to Kevin Harvick.
All right, 5 laps to go. Denny's got his teammate behind him who hasn't been able to get by, but behind that is the 41 car of Cole Custer, the Stewart Haas teammate to Kevin Harvick, who's going to try to get by these Gibbs cars.
Less than 4 laps to go to determine who will be in the championship 4. Chase Elliott took matters into his own hands. He is out front. He's going to try to win his way into the championship 4.
What a great drive by Chase Elliott in a pressure-filled situation. Chase Elliott with an opportunity to step up, a career-defining moment possibly.
Trying to make it into the championship 4 for the very first time. Under 2 laps to go.
I think Denny's in pretty good shape right here. Harvick working really hard to close the gap on the 18. He's down to 2 car lengths to Kyle Busch.
He's got to make the pass or someone has to go around the 11. The final lap for Chase Elliott. Down the backstretch for the final time. Chase Elliott through 3 and 4. He is going to win his way into the championship 4. Elliott wins at Martinsville. Can Harvick do it? The final turn. He needs the position.
Oh, Harvick spins the 18.
Turns into the 18. He turns as well. The 18 crosses the start-finish line, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs. The question was asked earlier, what would you do? What would you do to make it into the championship 4? We saw Kevin Harvick, that last turn effort, trying to get that 1 point that he needed, and it didn't work out.
What would you do and what can you do? Chase Elliott came in what looked like a must-win situation, and he wins at Martinsville. His first career win at Martinsville to advance to the championship 4.
And his first visit to the championship 4, Chase Elliott now has a shot at a title. He's never won a title. 4 wins in 2020. You see the elation as he's climbing out of the car. What a win for the 19. You see the emotions. We'll apologize for the language, but the celebration is going to continue for at least a week now, Dave.
That is emotion coming out big time. The pit crew, who had a couple of bobbles but kept him in it, and the driver with the resolve. This place has been bad to him in the past. It's been good to him in the past. It has never allowed him to get to victory lane. And in its most important hour, Chase's career sees its first victory at the Martinsville Speedway. Chase to the fans, and the emotions pouring out now. Your boys are a little excited there, and the driver as well, right, Chase?
Oh my gosh. Biggest win
ever for us. Just so proud. You know, there's not to be able to, you know, be backed in the corner like that and have to win tonight. I feel like that's what we've been missing, you know, these past 4 or 5 years to, you know, perform when we don't have a choice. And to do that tonight was, couldn't ask for a better night. It's unreal. Thanks to the fans for coming out.
They're here, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Love to see it. Oh, trying to catch my breath, man. It's unbelievable. Going to Phoenix, shot to win a championship. Beautiful blue Napa Camaro. Headed out there with the shot to win a title. What more could you ask for?
Chase, when you had your car back in the pack just a little bit, a couple of miscues on pit road, what concerns did you have?
Yeah, I didn't think our car was driving as good there at the end as it was at the beginning of the race. But those last couple of pit stops made some really good changes, and had a good pit stop on the last one, had a good last restart, and that was the difference. So just huge thanks to everybody that makes this possible. This is unbelievable. Just a bit of a loss for words. Just to, like I said, this is the piece we've been missing, and I feel like we've had the group to do this. We just have to go make it happen, and we did tonight.
Backed into the corner, Chase Elliott claws his way out, claws his way to victory lane at Martinsville, and goes on to the championship 4. Marty.
Well, Kevin Harvick going to take a moment to process this one, and you and I talked about points coming into the day, how you fight all year long, why you fight for every point, Kevin. But honestly, did you believe coming into the day that this was a possibility?
For sure, with the way that we've run here in the past. Everybody kept battling there. I tried to run into the door of the 18 as a latch ditch effort there and spun him out. So sorry to put him in the middle of trying to gain a point. But yeah, just, you know, not a great 3 weeks. Didn't go our way, and we fought for everything we had, and it just came up short.
After all the wins this year, Kevin, to not make it to the championship 4, what are the emotions in not doing that?
You know, look, these championships aren't like winning like Petty and Earnhardt used to win them. You have to, you know, put them together 3 weeks at a time. And, you know, it comes down to one race, and it came down to one race for us tonight and came up short.
Kevin Harvick obviously had some issues during the day today. The cut left rear tire put him down 2 laps. They fought back, but the regular season champ will not be in the championship 4.
He was coming out of turn 4 and ended up from 1 point to 8 points back. Again, more coverage on NASCAR America post-race show on NBCSN. Make sure to join us there. There are 4 drivers now with a chance at the championship. It's Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Joey Logano. Logano and Elliott, they both raced their way in. They won their way into the championship 4. If you've ever thought about momentum helping you win a title, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, they've got that momentum. Denny Hamlin has been great at Phoenix over the past few years. He's going to be strong as well. Next week, it will be determined who gets it, who wins the championship. The Cup Series